Good morning and welcome to day 3 of our second annual WSOP Daily Spaces coverage. I'm Sherry Pluskota, aka Peaches, and I'm joined with my co host, the UK godmother, Donna Morton. Good morning, lovely.
Good morning, my darling. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How are you? Well,
Uh,
you already said you
mm,
were good, didn't you?
yeah,
It's that natural auto response when somebody says something to you, you just have it on auto replay, don't you? It's so funny. Um,
yeah.
I appreciate you joining me this morning. Of course, Brian had a late night last night, bagging for day 2, and we're going to get into that as soon as he gets here, which should be just a few minutes. And we're excited for him for many reasons. A couple of items I'd like to go over. First, many thanks to Elevator Results, who's been our sponsor since day 1. If you need a tailor made workout plan to help you lose weight or gain weight, Elevator Results can design that plan. Follow them on Twitter and check out their site at elevatorresultspt.com. Reminder, you can get you can listen to the recordings of our past spaces interviews or the daily WSOP coverage, which should be getting posted today on YouTube. The daily coverage anyway, the interviews are all there already on YouTube. My channel is Sherry Pluskota 9212. Please subscribe. It's a great tool to have for us to go back and listen when we're trying to gather information. So please join and subscribe to my channel. Also, a reminder, I'm absolutely horrible at pronouncing people's names, so please, um, you know, don't hold me accountable other than the fact that I already know I suck at it. So, hey, Brian, here's Brian Pinkus, another co host. Welcome, bud.
Good morning, my friends.
How are ya? You ready?
I'm ready. I'm ready. We're gonna make it happen today. 153, I think, players left. 175K up top, and pretty easy going day for the most part. My last
Awesome.
table was by far the toughest as far as players, but I just kind of hung around and made chips where I could, and end of the night, pretty good, pretty good.
So,
So
what's the magical number to get in the money?
we're already in the money.
We're in the
Uh,
money going into day 2. I love it.
yeah, we're actually pretty deep in the money. Not deep, you know,
Right.
not deep in the not deep in the terms of like the cash, but like I think the money bubble burst somewhere around 500, then we're down to, like I said, 150. So
So, what are
uh,
you guaranteed walking in the door today?
right about $1,500.
Awesome. And it was a what buy-in? 500?
$500 buy-in.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So 3 times. So that's a great start to your summer, Brian. Congrats on doing the
Yeah.
work and bagging today too.
Yeah, either way, right? Because it's funny, I was watching the one of my vlogs from 2018 the other day. We were watching it on the stream, and I had cashed early that year, like one of the first my first event. And I said, it's really important and a good thing to cash on the first tournament. It gets your summer off right. And, you're just
It's
in a different
exciting, isn't it? It gives you
yeah.
some great inspiration as well as hope and motivation.
Well, and the spaces community is like this whole new thing to me, like being in there, knowing that, people are rooting for you, and I'm really glad that we did this 5% because that's even more fun because you and a few others are in this thing with us, and
Team software. That's what I'm calling it. Team
there we go.
software.
I was looking for it. I was looking for something like that. So that's good. Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's really exciting. And that whole part of it, like just it's really funny for me, like thinking about poker, right? Like it started out this thing I didn't want to be part of the community, and now with like the spaces, it just feels like everybody's there, and cheering
Well,
you on.
you're one of the boys, Brian. You're one of the boys, but more importantly, you're my co host, and we have a great morning show together.
I appreciate that, Sherry.
I do too, because we've had a lot of fun doing it, and I look forward to this summer continuing it. And, like everybody knows, we make it work one way or another, don't we?
Oh yeah. Well, I say for those of you that don't know what Sherry's probably talking about, I sent her a text at like or DM at 2 in the morning or something like, "Hey, I may be there. I probably 90% I'll be there, but I may not be awake, and my focus isn't going to be on that." I'll tell you though this tool that who sent it to me, Sherry?
Chance. Well, Chance is the one who designed it, right?
Yeah,
Chance Ford.
but I
Tell
want
us about
to.
tell us about it because you've actually used it. So tell us what it does and what you think of it.
Well, first I want to give credit. Who was the lady that
It
posted?
was Stefan. It was oh my god. It
Yeah,
was
you're close.
oh my goodness. Let me
Um,
look it up. You talk about it,
okay,
and I'll look it up
okay.
while you
So
do.
Stephanie or something. Anyway, Sherry's going to tell you who it was, but she posted a tweet that Chance had sent out, Chance Corneth, for his chip leader coaching. And honestly, Sherry, I sent a note to Beth Boyd this morning that I was like, how did we not think of this? We're all
Right
sitting
on.
here all these years,
Software.
and I know I feel stupid. And everybody's like, what is he talking about? We're all sitting here going into our day twos and um and looking up the Hendon mob, and maybe we're putting them into a spreadsheet or something. No, 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 no. Chance comes out with this thing, this chip leader coaching table spy. It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, it's not technically unbelievable. It's one of those things like the what was that, the pet rock they always talk. Why didn't I think about that stupid,
Right.
right? So what it is that you can put the people's names in and their chip count, and it automatically goes out to Hen Mob and pulls in their profiles and then lays it all out on the table. So you're just sitting here like, staring at the table with all the information. I mean, like, I think honestly, and this is one of the things, Jerry, like this is almost like you see this and you're like, man, this is pretty good. Like, like,
Well, and I'm so glad it was Sarah Stefan or Stefan. I'm saying it Stefan. I think Stefan tagged Brian and I in a retweet so that we would be aware of that software. And I appreciate her doing that and recommend if you guys see something you think we would be interested in to cover on our daily show, please do the same
it's
because this is a great tool for all of us and it's great to be able to share that information.
well, and we're like it's so cool that we've built this like community. Like, I'm not saying that as you and I'm saying like everybody, like even other spaces and things like that.
Absolutely.
And just to be able to like send out like I woke up at 4 in the morning and I'm like, I'm gonna look and see if the table draws are out. So I go on, I find my table draw, I send it in a tweet, and I'm like, all right, guys, do your research and let me know. And I wake up, at 7 in the morning, and there's all this research ready to go, like
Yeah,
that is
ASG, he did a great job of
just
researching for you. And there were a couple of others. And I think it's awesome. Like we
blue
talked
and
about yesterday, that Spaces is an awesome community. People were offering you help with editing video yesterday. And I just love that about Spaces.
yeah, and I'm definitely taking everybody up on that. I need email addresses so I can put you on I have a tool that I'm gonna put you in there. We've got a lot of good just little clips here and there and B-roll and stuff like that to put together. I think what I'm going to do for this vlog is I'm not going to worry about it. We're going to keep shooting today
Right.
and that, and whatever happens happens. And that's the cool thing about vlogs. You say you're going to do one, and you don't know if the story is going to end up being that you did something really not so good, or or you won the whole thing. So
Right.
that's the exciting thing
And
about.
everything in between, right?
Yeah, and by the way, I'm not doing the, I don't know who's the guy. You know these guys where they go and it's all about the strategy and all that. That is not what we're doing. Like, I mean, very high level and stuff like that. It's more about the story and the journey and all of that kind of stuff.
Right on.
Because
We
that's
look
what I'm,
forward to it.
yeah, it's gonna be great.
Now, what time is the restart for you today?
Restart is at 11.
Okay,
So
perfect. So we
uh,
have just a little bit of time, and then
yeah,
Brian's going to have to dip on us, but I'm going to move us along and we can get back to anything that we've forgotten as far as that's concerned. So let's be reminded that
great.
Friday afternoon space at 4:30 Pacific time is gonna we're gonna feature interviewing Sean McCormick, and we're gonna have a couple of special guests, which should make that a fun and enjoyable, more so than ever, space. Um, I'm going to hold off on the Hall of Fame history lesson for a little while so we can get into it before Brian has to leave us. So let's move on to I want to cover the tournaments and then one hot topic. And I'm waiting for someone to join us. She's going to try to join us here. And I hope it's before Brian leaves because I definitely want him as part of this conversation of something that's whirling around the poker community today. But first, let's talk about what tournaments are going on today. So, Donna, why don't you start out with what's going on at the South Point Poker Room?
I'm ever so sorry, my darling, but today I had migraine and I've been sick, so I slacked on that.
Well,
So unfortunately, I am unable to point out anything about South Point today.
okay, well, hold on, and I will get it. I will get it from the other day because their schedule is not changing. So we
I have
can
it if
just
you
look
want.
at what took place the other day and just go over it. Brian, while I do that, why don't you talk about the win?
Okay.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
I have today's for South Point if you want me to do it.
Go right ahead, bud.
Okay,
Perfect.
so at 10 a.m. they have $100 buy-in, no limit hold'em, $10,000 guarantee, $20,000 starting stack, 20-minute levels, unlimited re-entry until the start of level 9. And then at 2:05 they have no limit hold'em bounty tournament, $3,000 guarantee, 20-minute levels until start of level 9. The bounties are $25. And 6 o'clock is the $100 no limit hold'em, $7,500 guarantee, 20-minute levels, 20,000 starting stack, unlimited. All of these are unlimited rebuys. And then start of level 9 also they always end the rebuy period or entry period. And then the late night option, 10:05 p.m. No limit hold'em, $100. It's a turbo and it's a $2,000 guarantee, $20,000 starting stack, 15-minute levels on that. So that's what they got going on today at the South Point. And I would just say one of the nice things that you'll notice around town. So this weekend is the bounty event, right? I believe at the World Series. So I don't know if this is a regular thing for them where they're running a bounty at 2 o'clock, but you'll see this where these hotels have gotten smart. So they'll have like the event that's coming up on the weekend or in a few days. They're going to run at the World Series. They're going to run an event before that that's a lower buy-in. So good way to get some practice without burning up a lot of cash. We were talking yesterday about vig, the rake on these tournaments and stuff like that. And that's something like, oh, okay, it's $100 buy-in and it's whatever it is, say probably something crazy, $25 or $20 or whatever entry fee, but you may not entirely be there for making money. You may be there to make sure that you tune things up so that when you go into that 1500 or whatever it is this weekend,
it's a cheap practice and
yeah.
teachable moment, right?
And there is a reality of what Fats was saying to an extent, right? Which is he was saying, the higher the higher the big, the worse the players, right? And he is right, right? I mean, anybody that really knows what they're doing is going to pay attention to that. So,
Right
you're
on.
playing with a lot of lower skilled players,
Right on.
but they do that
Hey,
sometimes.
let's move on to the WSOP, and then we'll get back to the win in the Venetian. But let's get on to the WSOP in case there's folks needing to get out of the door. Let's talk about event number 1, the 5K Championship Reunion, no limit tournament. Today is day 3. There are 10 players remaining. Terry Flesher of the United States has 5.6 million or 70 big blinds. Heli, I think is how you say, Teshurik. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. You guys know me. From Turkey has 3.9 million. And I don't know. Did you look at that list? Oh, David Coleman, who's in ninth place as far as chip stacks are
Oh, that's
concerned,
come in a
with
while.
1.3 million, is really the only name that I recognize on that list. I don't know if you looked at that list or not, Brian.
I didn't. I haven't looked at any
That's
of the
okay.
World Series
No
stuff.
worries.
Except for
That
I can do the freeze out for you. I
okay.
know that.
This event 1 has a prize pool of 2.2 million and had 493 entrants. So moving on to event number 2, which was the employee tournament, they are down to 4 players: Jose Garcia, Richard Rodemir, Alexander Green, and Lang Anderson. Jose, who is in first place, has 13.7 million in chips. Richard has 8.7. Alexander has 4, a little over 4 million, and Lang has 2.9 million. So 4 left in that competition. Um, Go ahead with your freeze out update, bud.
All right. So day 2 of the freeze out starts today. By the way, Sherry, my guess was 3,000 players. We had 3,485.
Nice.
In 45th place overall is a guy named Brian Pinkus,
Whoop, whoop,
and
whoop. Let's
we're really
go.
we're really pulling for him. A couple spots below him, Sherry, in 47th is none other than Daniel Negreanu.
Kicking ass and taking
And,
names, as Brian the software kid is.
and I'm just going to say Mr. Zoo, XU, is in first place with 2.13 million chips. The lady that won the Commerce event just now, she finished just inside the money last night, and she played really well in that Commerce event. So it was pretty
Awesome.
good to see her again and get in there into the money. But $1,463,000 prize pool, $175,000 up top, 151 players remaining in this event.
That is awesome. And let's move on to, and we're rooting for Team Software, of course. Event number 4 is the $1,500 Omaha High Low 8 or better. Prize pool is at 1.2 million. There were 928 entrants, and there are 275 going into the next day. James Chan of the United States has 386,000 in chips and is the chip leader. De Silva is in second place with 240,500 in chips. And I'm trying to look quickly at the top 10. I don't see any names that I recognize. So we're going to just stop with the top 2 because I'm trying to give Brian a chance to get out of the door when he needs to. So let's look at what is going on today with new tournament start times. Do you have that or you want me to read it?
I have it.
Go ahead, bud.
Yeah. Over at the Venetian today at 11:10. No Limit Hold'em $600 buy-in epic stack tournament, and that is a $30,000 guarantee, $50,000 starting stack, and 30-minute levels. Late reg is open till 5:25. That starts at 11:10. At 12:10, the PLO 8 or better, $800 buy-in, and $75,000 guarantee, $25,000 starting stack, 30-minute levels. That late reg is open till 5:40, and over at the Win, 11 o'clock this morning. No Limit Hold'em, $1,100 buy-in, day 1E of that event. These are those big guarantees, $2 million guarantee for that, and $30,000 starting stack, 30-minute levels. I like that they do this. I was hoping that the World Series was doing this. 30-minute levels on day 1, and then it jumps to 40-minute levels on day 2.
Nice.
Late reg is open till 3:30 in that event. And then at night they have 8 o'clock p.m. tonight. They have another 1100, same event, day 1F, but that's a turbo. So they drop the levels down to 20 minutes and 40 minutes, and that late reg is going to end at 11 p.m. So kind of an interesting one, right? Like that you can play the day flight as a regular 30-minute levels, 30-minute levels on day 1, and then the night you could drop it down to a 20-minute level tournament. But then on day 2, they join, and they obviously both have the same blind levels of 40 minutes. So
Right.
pretty cool.
Interesting. Very interesting concept. Is that all you have? I'm sorry, I got sidetracked.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
let me go.
it.
I'm sorry.
Venetian and Win.
I was trying to look up something. I'm sorry.
It's my fault.
I just want to go back to the WSOP and cover what's going on today. So day 3, we have event number 5, which is the $1,000 Mystery Millions No Limit Flight A, starts at 10 a.m. Event number 6, which is the 25K Heads Up No Limit Championship, that starts at noon today. Event number 7 is the $1,500 Dealer's Choice Six-Handed event. That starts at 2 o'clock today. Moving on to the Orleans, we have at 11 o'clock the Horse Championship, 100,000 guarantee, $1,100 buy-in, 30K starting stack. At 4 p.m., we have an Omaha 8, Stud 8, 10K guarantee, $240 buy-in. At 6 p.m., we have a No Limit Super Stack, 20K guarantee, $200 buy-in. So that's what's going on at the Orleans. And at the Aria, pardon me, the Aria, they have the $600 PLO, and that is a 30,000K starting stack at 11 o'clock today at the Aria. And I want to make mention, and I think our friend Maureen, who's in the space right now, for retweeting to me that the Aria upped the guarantee on the ladies event. It is now a 75K guarantee instead of a 50K guarantee, which is a great problem for us to have, right?
Yeah, I was going to mention that because I've retweeted it as well. I think that's fantastic what they've done. And ladies, if you can get there and support it.
Absolutely. They do a great job over at Lord, over at the Aria. And tomorrow we're going to have the big poker boss on, Sean, who's going to give us all the updates on what's going on at the Aria, the Bellagio, and every other MGM property. I'm looking forward to that interview at 4:30 Pacific time. Tomorrow, no, not, is tomorrow Friday? Yeah, tomorrow Friday. I'm sorry, you guys.
Is it?
I'm exhausted. But at any rate, Brian, what you got for us?
You're exhausted. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
It's really underrated, the ability to sleep in during these big tournaments. By the way, I missed in here still is my buddy Valentin Vornico. We've become friends over the years. I think originally he was kind of this little bit of a controversial character at times, but I think he's great. He's one of my favorite people. So he has just over 1 million chips. So uh,
Well, it sounds like he's going to be a little bit of competition for you today. Nothing you can't handle.
yeah, and I don't see Sean Deeb still on here, but I want to mention that it was good to see him in this tournament. He was actually had some chips at some one point. I'm scrolling just through it here. I don't know why I don't just do a find to see, but I think it's great. Like, if it tells me so, if Negreanu and Sean Deeb are still jumping into these low buy-ins, then I'm starting to think that the changes to the Player of the Year might be okay. Because my biggest gripe has always been that that my biggest gripe has always been that these buddies go and play their high limit events that nobody else can afford to play in, and then they divvy up the Player of the Year every year. I never want to see it end up like that. But so if they're being forced into these low limit um large field events, then it's a pretty good sign. So
And I think it's good for poker. And I know a lot of people are going to complain, we don't want the big names in our small tournaments. No, how are you going to get better unless you play against the best? Come on, people.
well, that's really short-sighted too, though.
Absolutely.
Because honestly, it's not even just that, Sherry. It's, Bob from Ohio that's coming out to play his only World Series event. He wants to play with Daniel frickin' Negreanu. He doesn't want to go see Negreanu sitting in a side room with velvet ropes, like hidden away from the rest of the people, like he's some kind of like super person. He wants to be on the same court. That's why he put up his $500. He's going there. He can't play basketball against Michael Jordan, but he can go test himself against the best, and it's good for poker for these guys to be in these events. And
I think it's great for poker to see some of the people, some of the players that people watch on Poker Go or any other coverage, actually at a table with them or at a table next to them. It's only good for poker, in my opinion. And
absolutely.
guess what? I may end up at a table with Daniel Negreanu and he kicks my ass, but guess what? It is what it is. There are people without names like his that kick my ass, and it is what it is. I'm not afraid. I may be stupid sometimes, but I am not afraid, and I can't get better unless I'm playing with the best. So I'm all about it. I wanted to remind everybody that our friend Robbie Straczynski over at Card Player Lifestyle is teaming up with our friends at the Moneymaker Tour and the Bellagio to host the Mixed Game Festival June 16th through the 20th. I wouldn't miss it if I were you folks. If you're in town or live there, get there. It's going to be a great time. If you're a newbie to mixed games, they are going to be very friendly as far as teaching and helping the newbies. So definitely get there if you can. Go ahead, Brian.
Oh, yeah, I don't really have anything, Terry.
All right. I have a couple
I
of
can,
things.
I could go through if you want me to tell you my table and that if you want, or we
I
can move
definitely
on.
want you to tell us your table. And then, you know what? Before we do that, let me go over the Spaces Fantasy Poker League for a minute. And
Yeah,
then we'll get to, we want all the details so we can follow you the rest of the day. Okay. Sound okay?
perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So yesterday we kicked off the Spaces Fantasy Poker League. There were 19 teams drafted out of, picking out of a hat randomly. And we published all that in tweets yesterday. Um, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I want to read the message that Blue sent me after the draft yesterday, which I just chuckle at every time I think about it. And of course, she's very competitive like the rest of us. She said to me, Let me find it. I hear I got Team Livingston. Happy with my pull. I will be heckling the other players not on my fantasy team while I'm in Vegas. The $190 is way more interesting to me than the possible million. So Blue is in it to win it. And I
Very
think it's hilarious.
She's so funny.
She is hilarious. So people are getting wound up about our teams. And, I think in about a week or so, when the results start applying to their point values on their teams, is when it's going to start to, I think the shit talking will really get started, don't you?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Blue cracked me up earlier this morning. We were going back and forth about the video editing, and she asked, what am I going to get paid? I said, like a Starbucks coffee. Like, so negotiated up to the point where, um, where I'm going to include cream and sugar. Uh, but listen, Jerry, I think there's still a little bit of a gap
I love it. I
between
love it. Okay,
cream
now
and
tell us all things Software Brian, day 2 of the kickoff of the freeze out
the
event. Tell us all things, bud.
kickoff, the donkey kickoff freeze out event. I'm in seat one, with 665,000. 665,000 is about 100,000 over average. Um, second, I'm second at the table. David Hackney has 780,000. He is 2 seats to my right in seat or left in seat three. And the other big stack, or well, let's just say the other kind of person to kind of pay attention to is Peter Heng Sakul.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, he's very accomplished. A lot of cashes, deep runs. I think he had a win. Uh, I saw 2.8 million in cashes. Um, yeah, 2.859 million in cashes. Best live cash was 325,000. And if the interesting thing is seeing his average cash though, $4,200. So this is a guy with like tons of cashes. He's always playing, and been playing since about 2010. Uh, so he's in seat seven though, so that's pretty good for me. Um, I'll just go around the table for myself. So
Sure.
I'm in seat one, seat with 665. Richard Bondi is in seat two with 85,000. David Hackney, as I said before, the chip leader at the table, 780,000 in seat three. Seat four is David Wilkins with 375,000. Alfonso Alcantara with 75,000 is in seat five. Seat six is Hunter Cole with 440,000. Seat seven is Peter, as we mentioned, with 570,000. Also with 570,000 is Oscar Sorensen in seat eight, and Matthew Zeto, it's Szeto, has 405,000 in seat nine. One thing to mention that was kind of nice is that the overall the entire day we played nine-handed, and obviously we're nine-handed today, so that was nice. And some people are surprised by that, but Sherry, I think that that's one of the things that over the years, these other venues, put that pressure on the World Series to really, offer a good product. Now that doesn't include their cafeteria there. And I saw a picture yesterday. I was like, this is unbelievable. Like I could not somebody it was like 20 some bucks, and it was like two pieces of bread and like a half of a half a tablespoon of jelly in there. I don't think you got even any peanut butter. It looked
Yeah.
awful. Like I'm
Yeah.
just like, what on earth are they doing?
Look, you need to, if you're looking for something, you need to look at what TJ is offering, because he's offering some kind of healthy wraps. So you might look at his Twitter account and see what he's offering, if you like wraps, but they'll be healthy because, he said he has a health and fitness business, which, by the way, if anybody is looking for a trainer while they're in Vegas, I would look at what TJ is offering on his Twitter page. But Brian, what he's offering for as far as food may be a good option for you as well.
Yep. Oh wow, this is great. I just saw a tweet from James Woods, our guy for not James Woods.
Now, I know what you're
It's
talking
a,
about.
for
Last year I
all you
started.
poker fans, this is a fundamental truth, all in caps. Miami John Sanudo absolutely should be on the list for the Poker Hall of Fame. He is number one in tournament cashes and number one in tournament wins in the recorded history of tournament poker. So, and you, I think you commented on it. So,
Well, and for those that were part of our coverage of the WSOP last year, know that I brought up John's name last year in our spaces as promoting him for the induction because, as I said, for the last 2 years, but on spaces the last year, I can't think of one person more deserving. That doesn't mean I don't think others should be too, but honestly, I can't understand why he's not been inducted yet. And I'm so happy we got to interview him because I've been posting that interview anytime somebody tweets about him being inducted. Under that tweet, I put a link to our interview so people that may not know him well can go to that interview and listen to some of the reasons why he should be inducted. And hopefully that will continue to gain momentum, which now Alan Kessler, James Woods, and some other folks are retweeting, my sentiments and their sentiments about it. And I'm excited that hopefully that pressure will help get him inducted.
yeah, exactly.
Hey, what is your table number, Brian?
My my table number is 215.
Perfect.
I think
215 seat one sounds like the winner to me.
yeah, let me just double check that. But it might be 115 or 215. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Bronze. It's there. It should be in the in the room with the, what are they calling that now? It used to be the mothership. I don't know what it is now.
Oh, is
Uh,
it oh, my mind just went blank.
yeah.
The forget it. My brain. Nope. Sorry. I don't have that one for you this morning, bud. Is it the
Yeah.
champagne room?
No, that's a whole different thing.
Darn it. You're
I'm a
supposed to
Christian,
work with me.
Terry. I don't go to the champagne room. I steer clear of that.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
I know. I'm just kidding.
Sorry, I had to shut my
I'm
microphone
kidding.
off
I'm
so
not
I
kidding.
could sneeze. You know what? I did want to go over something that Kevin Math under the WSOP account published today, and that is the day 3 non-bracelet event schedule at the World Series of Poker. At 9 a.m., it was the $250 seniors event. 12 p.m. is the $135 Mystery Millions landmark. 1 p.m. is the 250 deep stack. 3 p.m. is the $235 landmark. The 4 p.m. is the $400 deep stack turbo. The 4 p.m. is also the $240 Mystery Millions landmark. The 7 p.m. is the $580 PLO landmark. The 8 p.m. is the $200 Deep Stack Turbo. And the 10 p.m. is the $135 landmark. So that is all of your non bracelet events. And I appreciate Kevin Math's um, tweeting that for an easy reference for us. Go ahead, Brian.
Um, I was just adding on to James Woods' tweet there to say, that Miami John has held definitely, what do they say, held the test of time, and played the highest of high stakes and played all the games,
Absolutely.
in addition to the things that James Woods mentions, number one in tournament cashes and number one in tournament wins in recorded history of tournament poker. I didn't know that. Like, is that a reality, or
Oh yeah, we went over that.
the
Yep.
most cashes?
Yep.
The most cashes?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
And most wins too.
I'm
Like,
going to tell you, he is such an accomplished poker player. It's mind-boggling to me why he's not inducted. And we can all take our guesses, right? You think about, why is somebody who is so accomplished in poker not in the Hall of Fame, but somebody that was inducted as a charter member who never played a hand of poker and was in, and actually passed away 60 years before the game of poker was in Las Vegas, is a charter member of the Poker Hall of Fame. And yet John Sunnudo, who it has, like Brian has stated, stood the test of time in the world of poker. He's 80 years old and still winning poker tournaments. He just won one a few days ago. Like, what is it going to take? And, when I think about why isn't he, the only thing that comes to my mind is politics. And if that's the case, which I don't know that it is, if
I
that's the
don't.
case,
Yeah.
it's pretty crappy because
It,
he is very deserving.
it definitely is, Jerry, but I don't think in like the negative way that maybe, I don't know that you're saying it as a negative, but it's kind of like Miami John said, like everybody became a TV celebrity and that wasn't his thing. And and so he was out there grinding, and but that being said, I know of Miami John. He says he wasn't, this, he just didn't go out and start like a YouTube channel or whatever, but he was definitely, during the poker boom. I remember seeing him in different events and stuff like that. So, I mean, he meets all the requirements. It's absurd that he's not in. Like I said in the tweet, 100% agree. Miami John has held the test of time, played all the games, including some of the high stakes games going back decades, emphasis. The fact that he isn't in yet is a travesty that needs to be fixed this year. Get it done, Real Kid Poker and Bill Hellmuth. Because what you're alluding to, I think, here, Sherry, is there is this like reality. I don't know how the voting goes, but I think maybe the fans kind of nominate the different people, and then at the end, the people that are in the Hall of Fame get their votes. But then those votes are kind of like aggregated to the people that really care about things, about the
Right.
so
An
there's like this
example would be
structure
like
to it.
the former inductees would be.
I don't have a problem with it, and I why I tag Daniel mainly is I'm sure he's in the middle of it, and it's not a negative thing that I'm saying. Daniel's in the middle of it, I think, with good intentions, in that he cares about it and he wants, I mean, the guy invests so much. Like, even when I didn't get along with the guy, like, you know, you couldn't, um, you couldn't like really say anything bad about him. I mean, in my mind,
Look, Daniel
because
Negreanu is one of the best ambassadors for the world of poker.
I
You know,
mean, he busted
and
tournament theory.
nobody can argue that at all.
Sure,
And
he would bust a tournament, and he would like be taking photographs with people and signing
absolutely.
autographs. And he's at a fight. I think he was at the like one really deep in the main. Remember a couple years ago, super deep, and he's like going over the rail in between hands to sign autograph. I'm like, who who does that? Like,
Yeah,
I
nobody
mean,
can argue that for sure. And
yeah,
what I'm kind of what the reason why I say politics is because of the
yeah,
process that has evolved throughout the years. At one point it was poker media uh, had a big voting voice in that process, and I'm not saying they shouldn't, but I think players' voices should be a big part of it. And honestly, I would love fan favorite voices. I love that there's an open nomination process. But what if we did, set up something where the fans, once the ballot is set, as far as, nominees are concerned, that the fans could actually press a toggle and vote for their favorite. And maybe that counts for 10% of the process as far as how the decision is made. But I think that um, we should only be looking at accomplishments and not whether or not we like that person personally.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
So that's why I brought that up. You guys know, I brought his name into Spaces last year as who I think should be inducted, and I have been pushing for that for over a year, and nothing would make me happier than seeing that get done this year.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you hear that the Lodge bought the Rounders Club in San Antonio? They announced that yesterday.
I heard that. Hopefully they don't need to go through any city council meetings to get approved.
Well, the Rounders Club has been around for a long time. Very successful poker club. So I'm sure that's probably one of the main reasons they went after it. That they probably felt they didn't have to do anything as far as the politics and the city council or whatever in that area. But it's a very, very well known club. So I was kind of surprised that they sold out, but the price must have been right.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's
Well,
also
and I don't know, maybe there's some kind of partnership, or how did they announce how the deal's structured at
I'm
all?
going to tell you something. I did not dive into that
Yeah.
yesterday. I was, JC's been having an issue the last couple days, so all of the adults are 0 and JC's 1 over here.
Baby,
So
baby duty.
baby duty is kicking Gigi's ass right now. And
And
there's a
don't mean
reason why
GG
we can
poker.
return them to their parents. I'm just going to tell you that.
And we don't mean GG poker.
Right? Nope. Gigi grandma. I want you to tell us how the lines have been looking at the WSOP, Brian.
Really good. The only line I saw was payout line, and that was kind of long. Not really the payout line. The what's hard is when these big fields bust the bubble, then everybody starts, hitting the rail, and to pick up your payout slip sometimes can take a little bit of time. But I think the line was long, but it was moving. So,
Good. Good.
but but a good tip for that, you don't have to pick up your payout right away. You could, just don't forget about it. I think couple of years back there was some pro that was like, "Oh, when I got to the World Series this year, they reminded me that I never picked up my like $300,000 payout." It's like, I don't know
I
who
don't
does.
remember who that was, but I do remember that story. And I was like, so casual. Oh, I forgot my 300 grand at the WSOP. What do I do now? What a brag.
Yeah,
All right, I'm going to
sure.
talk about a little history in the Hall of Fame. So we're going to talk about years 1982, 1983, and 1984. In 1982, Tom Abdo was playing 7-card stud at the WSOP in 1985 when he suffered a heart attack at the table. Rest in peace, Tom. In 1983, Joe Bernstein sadly 1983 was Joe Bernstein. Sadly, I couldn't find much out about Joe other than he won his bracelet in 1973 for winning the Limit Ace to 5 draw event, which, of course, I have no clue about that type of event. Maybe Brian could tell us about it in a minute. 1984, Murph Harold was regarded as one of the best deuce to 7 low ball players ever. Brian, what is ace to 5 draw? Limit ace to 5 draw. Do you know that?
Never played it.
I've never even heard about it, but I don't play any mixed games, so that's not a surprise that I know nothing about that. Tell us Do you know when poker made its debut on television? Anybody? Anybody know? Donna, take a guess. What year did poker make its debut on CBS?
81.
1981. That's a pretty good guess, Brian.
What year did poker make its debut on
CBS.
CBS?
Yep.
What year did she say? 91?
81.
81.
81.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
Stop typing it into Google. Just answer the
No,
question.
I'm not typing it. I'm just thinking, like, my gut is like, I'm gonna go. Is it the highest one without going over, Sherry? Because no, I'm just.
Yes.
Oh, okay, then 92. No, I'm just kidding. Um, I'm gonna just go for it. I'm gonna say 2018. No.
2018 was the first time poker
Oh
debuted
wait,
on CBS.
let's say 2000. Yeah, 2000.
Okay, so for the record, one without going over would have been 1982 because she said 1981. But
Oh,
poker made its
Nice.
television
wow.
debut on CBS in 1973.
I was a bit
I was a little surprised by that. I thought it was maybe later 70s, early 80s. So I was surprised to read that yesterday.
Yeah, I were originally going for 79. And I thought, nah, about 81, something like that. So,
Good guesses.
to
All
software, Brian.
yeah.
So, did you? Okay, tell me. Anybody take some guesses? There were four poker players that won the main event back to back. Anybody got any guesses of who those are?
That won the main event back to back.
Yes.
Um, Stu Unger.
Yes.
Um, I don't. I think it didn't. Johnny Chan win it twice, and then he was going for a third against Helmuth.
Yes.
Okay, so that's two.
All right. Let Donna have a guess.
Okay, good,
I
good.
have no idea. My brain's hurting.
Come on, just throw out a good name out there. You might
Oh,
guess it
I
without
don't know.
knowing it.
Negrano.
Okay. Nope.
Oh, I don't know.
All
My
right. Go
brain's
ahead.
just gone dead.
No worries. No
Go
worries. I
on,
just
go on, software. You can
go.
do this.
Go ahead,
I
Brian.
was I was thankful that she passed it over to you because I was done. I was gonna guess Doyle. Okay,
Go,
good, good.
me.
The most obvious of them all. It's Doyle Brunson.
Yes. And Brian just had muttered those words. Hey, Veronica, thanks for joining us. Brian just muttered those words, and Veronica came in for the sweep up, and I
There we
love
go.
it. So the fourth person is Johnny Moss.
Oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So that's kind of cool. I was like, oh, that's kind of a fun fact about poker, too. So, Miss Veronica, give us the update on HCL's Millionaire Game.
The
I
millionaire
mean,
game would be so much easier because then you'd have a bigger pool of players, right? It's $1 million buy-in. I don't know if anyone watched last night, but our big winner for 2 days in a row, Peter, left early last night, kind of broke the game. But he's back today. He had personal matters to attend to. He's very close-lipped because he had a translator with him. And I said, he doesn't need to be on camera, but can I interview him right now and then do an update? But he was like not really wanting to talk, but he did say he had personal matters to attend to. He's very nice. He's very polite, but he doesn't really want he doesn't want to talk. Yeah, and today is Alan Keating. You know what? I can't remember the entire lineup because
That's
I'm
okay.
so
No
exhausted, but
problem.
today is supposed to be a very splashy game. It's going to be all new players. Doug Polk is not
oh,
coming
great.
back. And yeah, I think HCL might have tweeted out already. I don't want to say anything that hasn't been tweeted out yet. So
No worries. And tell me, let's tell everybody what time the coverage starts.
so the pregame show, honestly, I don't know what the delay is on the pregame show. I have to be there by 12:30. So I think we're going to I think the pregame show will start at like 2. And then the game will start at 3 for you guys.
Okay, that's
So
Pacific time, right? Pacific time.
yes, I think. Yes. Sorry, I'm running on. I get a scheduled text every morning or every night. I'm already asleep when I get my text, but I get a text for what time I'm supposed to be where in real time. So, and sometimes we have a 2-hour delay. Yesterday, we only had a 45-minute delay. So it all depends on when we get started and how long they want the delay to be.
Awesome. So stay tuned to the Hustler and, of course, Veronica's Twitter accounts because they will post those updates for you guys to have the most current info as the schedule develops. Now, that was important, but more importantly, how's your man doing?
He's good.
There we go.
Him and I are texting when we can. We talk every morning and night. So he's good. He's getting in his Little Caesars pizza while I'm gone. I won't let him eat that shit when we're hanging out. So he's getting in all his junk food, he told me. He's playing all his video games, doing all the stuff that software developers do when their women aren't around.
I love it. I absolutely love it. And
I think I heard Veronica blushing there when you asked her that question, Jerry.
I
Might
think
be
I
the
did
first
too.
time.
And I love that.
You know what it is, software, is that she's so shocked that I actually got a boyfriend.
Get
That's what
out
it
of
is.
town. You're crazy and you know it. You know I'm so happy for you. Stop it.
So Sherry,
Okay.
we need a peach salsa update for the World Series of Poker. Can you give us one?
Yes, I will probably only have about 8 jars with me. So it's one of those things, they're heavy to carry around Vegas. So, the sooner you see me, the sooner, the more likely you are to grab one. So seek me out, folks.
And
And
I would definitely be watching the $1 million game. I saw some of the updates, Veronica. So that's interesting. But
listen, we're not done with the salsa talk, okay? Yeah,
all
the
right.
$1 million cash game, that's not important. The important thing is Sherry's peach salsa. I don't know if any of you have tried it. It's amazing. I got a jar of it during the ladies event on day 2. Remember, Sherry?
I
Sherry and
do.
I happened to sit at the same table. It was awesome. And then she gifted me with salsa, which was basically like winning the event. And then
Well,
that evening, me and my roommates devoured the salsa, and it was so freaking good.
well, it's known as Georgia crack to those that have had it because you definitely you yearn for some more.
Definitely agree with that one.
Hi, Donna. Nice to see you.
Hi, darling. Remember to eat and stay hydrated, my sweetheart.
If that involves 2 liters of very strong coffee a day, smoking a pack of cigarettes, and drinking tequila straight out of the bottle with the worm in it, that's exactly what I'm doing.
That sounds wonderful. But remember
Veronica
to
the
have something to
DJ.
eat.
I love it. Now, when are you heading to Vegas, my friend?
So because, I'm in a relationship now, last year the last like 2-3 years, I went for the entire series and just worked remote part of the time. This
Right.
year, the whole man thing got in the way. But we're going at the end of June for the ladies week. So I'm going to go play the ladies event. And then some other side ladies event because I love all the ladies events. That's pretty much my cup of tea. By the way, I've been studying with Jaka Coaching, and I'll be wearing a patch this summer too because I'm a sponsored pro now.
I love it. And I love that you picked his coaching. It's something that I've considered myself, but the timing just isn't right currently. So I hear great things about what he provides, and I'm happy you're doing that.
Well, do you mind if I say a few things about it? I'm
No,
not saying
please
this as a
do.
paid sponsor. So,
No.
I noticed, and I'm sure you all did, that Jaka coaching students, there's a lot of women who are his students and a lot of women who are winning tournaments because he does mostly MTT training.
Wow.
And so I was like, oh, this is interesting. Somehow there's a lot of women being drawn to his coaching site. And then I interviewed him and I was like, hey, what is this thing? Like, are you specifically targeting women? And he's like, no, it just somehow ends up that way. And what I think it is that you guys probably know, like the other sites are very like male centric, very like, Berkey's arguing with Doug Polk and like very like
Yeah.
alpha, trying to one up each other. But his site, Jaka Coaching, is like quietly turning out winners, not interested in getting into back and forths with anyone, just like calm collective training.
Right.
And when I looked at a site and I was like, okay, I'm interested in this. And then when I joined, it's just like all women in there. It's mostly women. And it's an environment where it's like, there's no bad questions. Let's discuss what you think. Like, what does everyone think in the chat? Because we do live sessions. And so
Yeah.
it feels like a more inviting environment to someone who, might be intimidated by, Doug Polk content, if that makes
And
sense.
it's not, yeah, no, it's non-threatening and it's non-judgmental is what I continue to hear.
And we're running solvers. Like we're doing the same work, but we're doing it in an environment that feels like very inclusive.
Well, and the
That a
thing
lot.
is,
Go
the
ahead,
thing
Brian.
is, a lot. I'm not going to say like anybody specifically, but a lot of times, these various sites. Well, let's just say it this way: you have to find somebody that matches with how you learn things and and where you're at too. I mean, some of these sites, like I'll tell you, like I've listened to videos that I'm trying to like go through the poker acronyms to like try to figure out what and I've been playing 20 some years. It's like who is this made for? Whereas I'll say this about Jaka is that I don't know how long I've seen this guy around. Probably the whole time I've been playing. I've never heard anything bad said about him. I've never seen him do anything at the table or talk to anybody in a way. I like just like always a solid guy. So he's a good guy to root for. I mean, we're not like friends or anything like that, but you see these people around, you get an opinion about them and that kind of thing. And he's definitely somebody that's been around for a long time. And I've noticed exactly what you're saying. I stood next to a lady in line last year for an event. She had the patch on and she was talking how she had just won a tournament or something like that. And, he,
I sat next to him last year during the Monster Stack for about 8 hours. And he was on my left. It was very difficult. We actually ended up busting in the same hand. It was a 3-way all in. And then when we were he walked with me to go, cash in because we made the money. We made it to the end of day 2 and the tournament was 3 days. So he walks with me and he's talking to me about the hand. And when I asked him about it, he didn't, a lot of pros will be like, oh, nothing you could have done. But Jaka talked to me like I was his peer and was basically breaking down the hand for me and telling me why it was like a bad spot for me. And I was like, holy shit, he's right. Like, wow, I rarely have these high level pros talking to me as though I'm one of them, as though I'm his peer. And he's just so respectful. And he wasn't like, yeah, like I normally charge for this. He was just like, hey,
right.
here's how the hand went. Here's why it was bad for you. Here's a spot that would have been better. Here's why. And I was just like, wow. And so it was these slow, I ran into him these like multiple times and he never tried to sell me anything. He never tried to convince me that his site was the one. He never did anything. Just I found out he's just a really good person, family man, talks to me like I understand what he's saying, doesn't talk down to me. And I just thought he was this great. And I was like, you know what? I'm joining his site. So it's been wonderful.
I'm glad you did because anytime any of us are learning, it's good for us, the game. And, I consider you a friend. So, of course, I want you to be successful. And not that I wouldn't want that for everybody, but I'm happy for you. And I can't wait to see what your results are afterward.
Well, one thing for sure is I have played a few tournaments since I started the training. Even I don't have a ton of time, but I have noticed there's one big difference in the game. I haven't cashed yet because it's awkward when you learn new things to implement them. But I'm definitely now in all the tournaments I've played in since I started the coaching, I'm deep stacked every time I play. And before I was just this little, milking this little short stack all the freaking time. And it was annoying. And I was like kind of doing the opposite of what should be doing half the time. And so now I'm adjusting how I play. Now I'm implementing the strategy. It feels so awkward, but every tournament I've played in, I've been like above average, double average. And then, you run into some bad beats and it is what it is. But yeah, it's been great.
Good for you. Good for you. Good luck. And I'll be there at the same time you are. So I'm sure our paths will cross.
And Veronica, I'm sure you're due for a nice cash soon, my darling. Keep doing the awkward stuff. Keep doing what you're doing and sending you lots of love. And I'm so proud of you.
Oh, Donna, stop. You don't make me cry. I've got 10 pounds of makeup around my eyes right now. I'm getting ready to slut it up for HCL.
Oh my God.
And I love you to bits, my darling. Never forget that. And I will always have you back.
Okay, remember that when I need $1 million.
If I had $1 million to give you, my sweet, I would do.
Oh, Donna, I love you so much. Thank you. And thank you again, Sherry and Software. Thank you for putting this on every day during the series. I'm such a big fan of the both of you. And I'm happy to jump on anytime if you ever need anything.
That's so nice. Can you do me a favor and let Mr. Keating know that, he got his start at Sherry's meetup game there at Aria, and use the lessons that we taught him tonight to
I'll pull him aside and I'll tell him that, hey, this is all because of Sherry. Okay, so make sure you thank her.
Tell him to come in tomorrow morning to thank me.
Yes,
I will. You know what? He probably would be more than happy to be honest, the way he is.
He is so sweet, and I agree. He probably would. And of course, we would love it. Everybody loves when he comes into the spaces, just like we love when you come in and chat with us. And I appreciate your kind words, Veronica, as always. And you're always welcome.
Sherry,
Thank you. I'm your number one fan, Sherry.
Thank you, love. And I'm your number one fan. And, I'm so happy you got that man friend.
Sherry, day 2, I'm gonna head out. I'm gonna go win a bracelet today.
Hey,
That's the
Brian,
plan.
kick some ass today, bud. Kick some ass. Good luck.
Oh my God, Software, you're on day 2 of an event?
Day 2, yeah. 600.
Oh my God.
1,000.
Hell yeah. Let's go.
152 remaining out of like 3,400. Let's fucking go.
Okay,
660K in chips.
Okay, I'm turning on notifications for your Twitter, Brian. I need you to update us.
I will keep you updated for sure.
Good luck, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah, and Brian, let me know if you double. I'll get in my car. I'll drive out there.
Yeah, that's the deal. If I get over 1 million, Avi's got to hop in the car.
All right. Avi is on Team Software. I'm on Team Software.
Yep.
ASG is on Team Software. And who's our 4th person?
Veronica.
No, Veronica, these are people. So I gave away
I'm there in
5%.
spirit.
I gave away 5%, and we of all of my World Series event, and we had 4 people qualify. So I'm really hoping that we can win this one or something. This year.
If you win, then if you could buy me a nice glass of wine, I would be very happy, and I'll celebrate with that.
Absolutely, that would be
I
great.
love
Okay,
that.
guys, I'm gonna get going because I need to get ready. I'll try to hop in if you are on later and give you some updates. If not, I'll be on tomorrow morning again.
Perfect. Thank you,
Love you guys.
Love you. Have fun at the HCL game today.
Love you, V.
Thanks.
And I want to make sure I say all 4 of the names. The 4th person was Snoop Dogg. So it's Avi, me, ASG, and Snoop have 5% collectively of Brian's action this summer. And we appreciate that, Brian. But more important, go and get ready to play and bring that title home, bud.
I'm gonna head out. Have a great day, my friends. I appreciate it. Thanks for Avi and ASG showing up, and Maureen, you've been here since the beginning. Really appreciate you guys uh, stopping in. Cool Chick's always here. Thanks for joining us, and Doc. And this is not the romper room, Sherry, but close to
You
it.
know,
Yeah.
I'm not sure anyone besides me, you and Donna, even know what the romper room was or is or why we refer to it. And maybe one day we will need to express and explain that romper room reference. But until then, Bud, good luck.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Good luck, Brian, even though you forgot me.
Uh, you know he loves you.
I know.
Avi, did you have something you wanted to say? I've been trying to get to you, Bud.
Oh, it was about the $1 million game, and yeah, I just posted the people up above, but with Brandon Stevens and Alan Keating, really looking forward to this game. And also, just a side question: do you think Veronica prefers white wine or red wine?
I know she enjoys going to the vineyards, and I would suggest that she probably enjoys both.
Yeah, I would think so too. I like the taste of red wine, but it always gives me acid reflux.
Oh, yeah. Yep. That's a common occurrence, I think. I'm going to tell you, I found the best cheap wine. Now, let me tell you, I've had some great bottles of wine in my life because my dad was in the business. But for a cheap wine, maybe a glass every night, nightcap kind of wine, I found this wine in Texas. A friend served me a glass at his house. This was probably 8 years ago. And it's called Low Hanging Fruit. And they have a white, a red, and a sweet red. And it's their sweet red. And I never thought I would like a sweet red, but it is delicious. And that you can only get it in Texas at the time, not where I lived in Georgia. So anytime I made a road trip to Texas, I brought home like 12 bottles of that wine. And now they carry it at Total Wine. And I think it's $10 for like a keg of it. I promise you. And it is the best cheap wine I've ever had in my life. So I highly recommend Low Hanging Fruit Sweet Red. What wine would you recommend, Avi?
Um, I like Sauvignon Blanc is my favorite, and I thought I liked sweet wine, but apparently it's bitter. But yeah, that's always my go-to, and they kind of do all taste the same. So like an $8 bottle is still really good. But for expensive stuff, I like Sancerre, which is the specific region in France, apparently, that has, I don't know, something about their wines, and that's something more like $25 a bottle. But yeah, that's kind of like if I was gonna go celebrate a huge win or something, I get a bottle of Sancerre.
You know what? I've not had that. So maybe one day we can share a glass of that.
Maybe in Vegas this summer.
I like it.
Just just get me a beer or an amaretto. I'm not a wine snob.
I'm not a wine snob either. I mean, I will definitely have a glass of beer. No doubt about
I prefer beer and amaretto to wine.
it. I'm not an amaretto fan, so you can have that and I'll have something else. How about that?
Yeah, or peach schnapps.
Yeah, that's not in my wheelhouse either, but again, you can enjoy that. I was hoping somebody was trying to get in here, and I guess the timing isn't right for her. And I really wanted her to join us in this conversation because I know she has an opinion about it. Pardon me. And Maureen, if you want to come up and chat about this subject, or even ASG when I get it going, uh, I would love to have you both because I think you both will have a good opinion to share, maybe help get the conversation going about it. There was a casino employee event, which of course we've spoken about the last couple of days. And there seems to be a little bit of a little bit of hoopla, for other ways of putting it, about some of the people that played in the event and whether or not they are really casino employees. um, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be totally honest about this, and I'm not throwing shade on anybody, but I saw the picture of Nikki playing and the picture of Lucas Robinson playing yesterday. And for a moment in time, I was like, wait, do they work for a casino? How do they get into this event? And just as fast as that entered my mind, it left my mind because I was busy yesterday. And then I wake up today and there seems to be a little bit of a hoopla about it. And, I tweeted to Lucas asking him, basically what casino he works at, or if he'd like to join us today in the space and tell us, what he thinks about the hoopla about it. I don't know. I don't claim to know, but I have seen some tweets this morning that other people are kind of jumping on that story. Um, there is a Brazilian player that played the event for 8 hours and then figured out that it was an employees event only. And he was in the tournament 8 hours. I don't know if they took his chips. Did he turn his chips in? I have no idea. Well, let me go back to Barry Carter. You can look at his Twitter account. He has always got some, fun takes or sometimes sarcastic takes on
He's
current events.
extremely sarcastic, is
R-
Barrett. I know
r-
him in real life, and
right,
he is so much fun, but he's so sarcastic. But he's also spot on too with the takes that he's got.
right. And it's, he says a lot out loud that a lot of people are thinking and won't say out loud. And one of the tweets he made about this topic was a tweet with several pro poker players and it's something to the effect of, and if somebody in here wants to retweet it in the chat, that would be great. Something to the effect, he had pictures of different pro players, and he said, this is what the casino employee tournament is going to look like next year. And there was like Doug Polk, and because he owns the lodge, he can technically play, but should he play, I think, is some of the point there. um, Robbie Straczynski, part of his tweet was, let's hope to see that this event returns to its intended purpose, and the playing field being what it was intended to be. And then Kat said something like, if you're a pro player who somehow weasels into this type of tournament, you're a cunt, and I'm not interested in a discussion on it. So, anybody get any thoughts about that? Avi, any thoughts about that? Avi, you still there? Donna, what do you think?
I think it should be casino employees only, because that's the only time that they actually get to spend and play poker. It's their time. It's like the women's event is our time. And if you're not an employee of a casino, you are not a dealer, you do not work for a casino, and you're a professional, then you should stay the hell out of it and let them have fun,
Yeah,
because
and I
it's
don't
a
want this
long
to.
WSOP.
Yeah, thank you, Doc, for putting that. I'm going to put it in the jumbotron. Thank you for putting that in our chat. I don't.
Sherry,
Go ahead.
did you say it was the employee event that someone just kind of snuck into?
Well, and they're questioning whether some of the players even qualify. Are they employees of a casino? But there was a Brazilian player that played 8 hours before he realized it was an employee only event. Um, and I wonder, like, I don't want this tournament to be ruined for the employees, for what it was intended for, right? It's not supposed to be a snipe hunt by pros or people that are around, that are, looking for an easy win. This is for the employees. These people work on our behalf all year round so we can play poker. It is their chance to play, it is their chance to shine. And I don't know how the WSOP can do better as far as so called screening the people that are entering. One thing that came to my mind is maybe there should be a rookie, in the rookie tournaments, if you have a Hendon mob of, I think it's 25,000 or more, you're not allowed to come into the tournament. And so maybe it should be maybe that should be tied into it as well, so that it's definitely employees, whatever that cap is, 50,000 or more. I don't know. I'm just throwing that idea out there, but I don't want this hoopla to ruin it for the employees. I want to, let's find a solution to ensure that they have quote unquote safe space, right? That they can count on that tournament being there for them, that they can enter it knowing that it is just employees and not pros. Go ahead, Avi.
Just an idea because, and yeah, I totally agree. Like, okay, so when you say employees, what I think first is dealers, and that there's a common philosophy about dealers, which is that they've seen so many hands get played. They've seen the worst hand get there so many times compared to the rest of us who, like, we all have seen the grossness, but they've dealt it, and then people over, like, they've experienced way more hands having dealt, and then the person is mad at them. What the fuck is wrong with you, Bobby? Why'd you deal? Why
It's
do you
so
hate
true,
me?
isn't it? It's so true. But
um,
I think it should be not only the dealers, but if you're a waitress or waiter, I think you qualify. You work for the casino. If you're a manager or a tournament director, you qualify. I think it is anybody taking a paycheck from a card room or from a casino. Um, I think they qualify, but you have to
even
be taking a darn paycheck. Go ahead, Avi.
Even like any casino in America, or just the ones in Vegas, just the ones with the WSOP? I mean, I don't know.
Well, I think, that is up for them to decide, but I think it should be, since this is the World Series of Poker, it should be any casino in the world.
Damn, wow.
Yeah, I totally agree with that.
And yeah, my idea kind of actually, I guess it doesn't apply then, but since a lot of those people are going to be local, everyone's going to plan it out and stuff, like, is to have a way of doing it in advance. Because, for example, Bobby was in that event. Bobby waited in line for that event, and that to me seemed a little bit preposterous. Him working for casinos, having to wait in line for a poker event, like, it really feels like that one you kind of earn your ticket into, or something, like you RSVP for that one, sort of, because it's helpful to have credentials, have them be real, be able to check them out. That's fucking difficult to do the first day of the WSOP anyway.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of wheels turning to make that tournament happen, and of course they need to tweak it. Go ahead, Sean McCormick. Welcome.
Hey guys, mic check real quick. You guys can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Oh, good.
Awesome. I'm in the car driving. I had trouble connecting, or as Brandon would put it, my Boost Mobile is acting up. Good morning to everybody, and I hope everybody's having a fun WSOP summer poker season so far. I did briefly hear the topic that you guys were talking about with the casino employee event, and obviously that's gonna have a soft spot in my heart. And I think the whole thing with the casino employee event is that we just need to redefine what the event is. It's not what it used to be. The event is no longer, because technically casino employees, let's be honest, when this event was invented, it was for like dealers and staff of poker rooms. But now any employee of any casino or anything can play it. So just redefine what it is. It's a casino industry event, but then still draw lines in the sand of who can and can't play. Like, obviously, in the spirit of things. Doug Polk should not be playing. We get that. I in jest I'm going to put Phil Hellmuth, our number one employee, in all the employee events moving forward. I thought that was kind of funny, obviously. But yeah, the spirit of it is obviously it's always been event 1 or event 2, and it's supposed to be the thank you to the staff, thank you to literally the people that are about to pitch cards to you, because half the WSOP dealers play in it, and then the rest of the staff are comprised of a ton of dealers that play and staff that work in Las Vegas and around the country and world. So, I just think it's one of those things where the spirit has been lost, and we just need to redefine what that spirit of the rule and what it's supposed to be is. Because I do believe casino media people, like Poker News and stuff like that, and those people should be allowed to play too, because they put a lot of work in, although, like not directly a casino employee, like a 1A tangent to a casino employee. So I think they do apply.
Well, and let's not forget, Chad won the event in the last couple of years. So, he's part of Poker News and he's actually won the event. And if you go by the title of the event, was he a dealer at the time? I don't think so. I think it was a Poker News media guy. And guess what? I'm not mad at it. I'm just pointing out, like Sean is saying, we need to redefine it, call it what it is, and that's an industry event, and then put some parameters in there that are actually enforceable, to keep the sanctity of it, so to speak, the spirit of it. Kat, what do you got for us this morning? Welcome to the conversation.
Hey Sherry, just popping in. I only caught the tail end of Sean's bit there, so I'm a bit gutted actually, because I would have really liked to hear Sean's take, because obviously he's working in that exact card room. I would have been really interested, because I hate
I'm not
it.
shy. I can talk more if you need me to.
Go ahead
I'd
and just
always love to hear
give
you
her the
talk, Sean.
bullet points, Sean. Give her the bullet points.
So, Kat, all I was really saying is that we just need to redefine what the event actually is and draw, like lines in the sand that say who can and can't play in the event. Obviously, the event was originally intended for casino employees and really poker room employees. But the industry has grown, and such the event should grow. So just redefine it as not casino employees. Just call it casino or poker industry employees, which is a coverall for people in media who I do believe should be a part of these events and stuff like that. But also make sure that, like, Chris Moneymaker, who has an ACR ID, can't play the event. That's not in the spirit of what it is. So, and those people won't, the big notables won't play in the event, but we still need to draw those lines in the sand where someone that's like got 5 million in cashes but has an ID badge from 12 years ago working in a poker room does not play. So we just have to figure that out.
Totally agree. And I'm not sure if they can hook the Hendon mob, to it or not, like what their Hendon mob is, like they do for the rookie event. But hopefully this will help prod them into regrouping and reshaping what that all looks like. Go ahead, Kat.
I mean, I don't know. I think there's part of me that's just really tired of it, Sherry. I don't know how Sean feels, but I've spent my entire adult career working with poker players, and I'm so fed up of putting my energy and my actual operational
In
resources.
Matrix, love.
Sorry?
Wait, what, Donna?
Is
Kat's
Kat
chat.
still talking? Okay, sorry. I'll
Yeah.
go down and come back.
Okay, she couldn't hear you, Kat. She's going to go out and come back in. Go ahead, dear.
So I'm really tired of putting my resources into it. So on one hand, professional poker players or extreme serious regular amateurs are really tough on poker operators, both live and online, saying, why don't you develop something new? Why don't you have more product? Why don't you do more things to grow poker, change poker? And some of that answer, honestly, is because I have to spend so much of my time pissing about with you guys playing silly buggers with the rules, right? And if you just thought about the whole industry, these pros, that if you behave like this now, these softer money streams die up. I said that 15 years ago, and look where we are in 2024. It is so difficult to recruit people to poker, and a lot of that is because of the way pros just make it hard. And, I work in the online environment now. Huge amounts of resources, both marketing time, product dev time, go towards making sure that our pro players, our top end, really intelligent ones who know the game, can't scam our recs and somehow get round us, because most of these guys are super clever, right? We're not playing with idiots here. I would say every Every winning poker professional is smarter than I am. So, of course, it wastes my time to try and think about how to out GTO them with T's and C's. Rant over, sorry.
No, that's okay, because I think that's all valid information. And I think it's valid in the point for many points. But one point is, like, how selfish do you have to be as a very successful poker player who has a large Hendon mob to think that it is okay to enter such an event? Like, that is not a good look. It is not a positive for the poker world. It's not a positive for the employees that wait on us, take care of us for the entire year. Like, what the hell are we doing here? We deserve better. We deserve you to act better and represent us better. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, I love a cat run. And yeah, as I say, stay the hell out of the casino and employees event. You've got all WSOP to play your events. You may think that the employees would want to play with you, but they see you and they deal to you all the time. So just think before you decide to jump into an event that you would not normally be able to jump into. Go ahead, Sean.
You know, there's an old saying that says just because you can do something doesn't mean you necessarily should do something. However, in today's society, especially in the world of gaming, we know, and I'm not saying this is what happened. Maybe people are playing this event just because they wanted to have fun with industry people. I don't know their motives, but we are in a very predatory game, which looks to extract every little inch and every little nuance of EV. So, although not my event, and I'm not faulting WSOP in any way, this is the strongest argument and the strongest voices I've heard on Twitter about this event this year. I just think we go back to the drawing board and being Caesars and WSOP and everybody who runs employee events. I know Win does one too. And hell, you know what? I'm going to jump in the water. I think we should do one too. And we just need to, which we do, by the way. We run events to send dealers to to this actual event. We ran one at Bellagio and we do it other places, but maybe a bigger and more inclusive employee event. But what I'm saying is, it's our job to draw those lines. So now that the situation's been brought at hand, it's our job, and of course it's Caesar's job to define the event the way they want to. But I believe the community's voice on this, especially hearing how people are very protective of industry people, will lend their ear to just bend to this and say and do what they will come to the conclusion is the right thing and just draw those lines. So all I'm saying is, yes, there's probably a few bad apples in there, but just draw the line so that we can take these bad apples out. I don't know what the answer is. Maybe Hendon Mob under 200,000. Plus being an active employee who can show. The active employee part is a big one for me because I know people are showing up with like Binion's IDs from 20 years ago with like a picture from 1972. I know that's happening because I heard from people. So
Yes, it is
just tighten
happening.
up those things. Show up with an active payroll stub. Anybody can show up with a payroll stub that says, May 31st of 2025. That's just not hard to do. So just show up with that, with some type of badge. And I don't know about the total money winnings because that's a tough one for me because I don't want to not incentivize employees that play in the casino and work in the casino to not better themselves at the game that they play and deal every day. So because we have some really outstanding employees like dealers that have over 100K. Like literally you could win this event, and if you set the line at 100K, that means they could only play a couple more tournaments and never play this event again. So I want to make sure the number's high enough but not too high that where it's like pros are entering, where the message is clear. But I think, and I'll end with this, I think the message just comes from the community to say, hey, if you're not truly a casino employee, 365, working for the community, and you're really trying to take this spot to take this little bit of EV against the casino employees, we boo them just like we boo anybody else that tries to enter a tournament where they're not supposed to be. And I'm not calling out those events. You know what I'm talking about.
Well,
Okay,
and
I'm off
I'm
my
going to
soapbox.
call it out because while you were chatting, I was like, this is definitely reminiscent, you know, I'm sorry, I got distracted. This is definitely a recall on ladies' events, right? Reminiscent of ladies' event and men entering ladies' event. You don't belong there. Respect our space. Stake your favorite female player. Same thing could happen here. You're not a casino employee. You don't belong there. Respect their space. Stake an employee into the tournament. They've waited on you and taken care of you for a whole year or two or 10. Stake them. Use the tip and say, look, instead of tipping you today, I'm going to stake you into that employee tournament, which is way more valuable than a $5 tip. Or do both, as I would. But anyway, go ahead, Kat.
I just wanted to pick up on something that Sean said that I think is really important. So he said it's on us, and I by that I think he meant us as operators to kind of lay down the tracks and put guidelines in place to protect the customers. Could not agree with that more strongly. Right? That is a principle I will die on. However, this is the crux that poker players, professional poker players, and by that I mean people who are paying their bills from the game, they are not customers. They are my colleagues. They are part of us when we use us to mean operators. They are in with the operators because they are profitable from poker. They need this environment to exist the same as I do for my job. And if I have a junior dealer or a junior marketing coordinator and they step outside a moral line, now I may not have written a rule in that specifically says they can't award a free poker ticket to their customer to their friend on the account. If I catch them doing it, I will sack them because it's not morally okay, right? It's nepotism. You're not allowed to do that. I don't care if your contract doesn't include the specific line saying you can't do that. As your manager, I'm getting you out. You're not good for my business. And that's where I feel about the professional poker element. We should be able to control that just by saying, well, I'm senior in this hierarchical structure. I'm the floorman. I know you're a pro player. Out. Doesn't matter what the rule says. Out. And I feel that about pro players. They are my colleagues. The amateur players, even the serious regs, to use Pads' phrase. If you are working and you are coming into my environment and paying my wages by losing your hard-earned cash as a hobby, you are my customer. I will die serving you. If you are also profiting and paying your bills from this industry as I am, you are staff and you need to behave with just be completely morally unimpeachable day on day. Otherwise, you shouldn't be in the industry or you shouldn't have a job. You shouldn't be making your money from this industry.
All right, I'll hop back in there. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Yes, thanks. Perfect. So when I say us, I do mean twofold. One, with the operators who go 90% of the way with the rules, but then I am calling out the community to go the rest of the 10%. And what I mean is hop on Twitter, call things out, not call people out. Don't call individuals out. Don't bully people. Make culture changes together as a community. That's what we need to do. The bullying stuff doesn't work. The bullying stuff just leads to people showing up and just doing it out of spite. So we just need to change the culture. And I think it was good that Alan Kessler called it out the way he did. Granted, I don't think he should have named anybody directly, but he could have done it. And I don't know if he did. Maybe somebody else did. I don't remember how the thread went. But I think we can make a lot of changes in our community as a community, changing the culture of what we think is right and wrong in our game. And we do all the time. We call out people that take shots in certain ways or do something on live stream TVs that they shouldn't. And those things change after something happens. So as long as we stay on topic like we are now, the change will happen naturally and organically. That last 10% that the operators can't do. Because unfortunately, here in the United States, our hands are tied a little bit more, especially since all the states and how gaming regulation work is different in all 50 states. So what one state can do with, like, let's say, drawing the parallel to ladies and women's events, what one state can do is not the same. Like, we've learned that in Florida, you just can't do certain things. So in Florida, we just have to make the culture change to say, this is not right. This is not your space. Please remain out of it. And I think the same will happen with the casino employee event. Nobody wants to see somebody with 5 million in lifetime winnings winning this event. And if that does happen, they will just naturally get booed by the. They'll probably get booed to the point where they have to take the entire prize that they won and tip it out to the employees. Like literally, it would be that bad. So I don't, like I said, I think naturally and organically the change will happen because people did bring it to light in this way. And one last thing, shout out to, I'm not going to call them out personally, but the Table One crew at Bellagio who did throw in additional seats into the tournament that we sent employees to this employee event. So players do notice, players do show appreciation. We had 2 guys throw in extra seats, and then we had 1 guy tell us, whatever the difference is, I'll round it up. So if you got only 100 to give out to, 8th place, I'll round it up and I'll make it a 550 seat or whatever the price
That
was.
is
So there are a lot
amazing.
of people. Amazing. So there's a lot of people that take notice of this event and know that it is special, and we need to keep it special.
Were they,
Amen.
Sean, were they pro players who did what you just said? The professional players who put their money.
Yes.
That's amazing. And this should be like, I want their names and I want them, because that's amazing. That's something as operators, it's really hard to do because of regulations. I can't just flick money to people who I think deserve it, right? It comes way too close to the regulations. But pro players can. And that is a fantastic example of a team member, my colleague, a pro player, absolutely providing outstanding customer service, brand marketing, and product positioning. That guy or woman, whoever it is a fucking hero. Please go to them, Sean, and wrap your arms around them and give them a slightly sexual hug from me.
She meant a really sexual hug. Don't kid yourself.
Yeah, rub yourself a bit on there.
I have a great idea. What if we started some campaign or something that every single poker room in the world ran, like that the players sent 1 player to the World Series every year. One industry person to the World Series every year. Like, how cool would that be? Like, I don't know how we
Well,
would do
you know
that,
what?
obviously, because
I'm going to
we
tell
can't
you.
as operators do that because we can't ask you for money, but you guys can.
I'm going to tell you, it's a great idea. I love that idea. And Kat, you wanted it really a sexual all the way hug. But anyway, I want Kat to know.
I've had a hug from Kat too, so I know how it is.
I think that we need to let Kat know that table 1 at the Aria is a high roller table. And I say that because those are the folks that we don't want playing the employee tournament, but we want supporting it. And like you, kudos to them. And I think it's awesome that they did that for Sean's employees. Go ahead, Sean.
I'm gonna semi joke here, but no, these are high stakes cash game players, so they're exactly what you want in tournaments. But no, we don't want them. They would dump all their money in the casino employee event. These guys are terrible. The high stakes players are terrible. Let's just call it what it is.
Listen,
They're terrible.
I'm trying to
But they
give
have a
them.
lot of fun. I'm
trying to give them
kidding,
flowers because
obviously.
they did a good deed. Stop yourself, Sean.
I'm kidding, of course. No, those play, like I said, since the beginning of time where I've worked at MGM Resorts, whether it's Bobby's Room at Bellagio, the Ivy Room, formerly the Ivy Room, Bobby's Room, Legends Room, and Table One now, they have been very generous with our staff, and they take care of. They've always made sure that our staff is taken care of. That that if they want to go play an event, things happen, they take care of them well. They make sure they're well fed and stuff like that. So shout out to all those players in Table One and Legends Room because they really are rock stars to our staff. But I have to fly here, ladies. I have to fly. It's time to make the donuts. It's that time of day to get the poker rings are going. So if you're in Las Vegas, shameless plug, shout out to Aria and MGM Grand having 2 awesome events today. You guys all have a great day. Kat, great talking to you. I'll be sure to give them that some type of hug. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. All right, guys. Love you all. Peace out. Have a great day.
Thanks, Sean. And let's be reminded, Sean will be
Thank
doing
you, Sean.
an interview tomorrow with us, Friday at 4:30. I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have a couple of special guests drop in, which should make that interview a little more fun as well. I hope everybody joins us to get to know Sean a little bit better. And we appreciate him letting us ride to work with him and chatting with us today. Thank you, Sean. And some great ideas of how we can make this employee event maybe a little bit better than it already is. Do you have any other comments, Kat? I'm so happy you joined us today.
I was thinking about, I don't actually know the guy, which shows how much I pay attention to high stakes, not non-ground grassroots level poker. Mike Holtz, I believe, played the event, and he's like a really big winner. You know, high profile. He's won like some high profile stuff. Obviously, like a super skilled poker player guy, and he had an interesting response because he said he'd actually polled some people. I assume an element of bias. It would have been his followers.
Right.
But he also spoke to people in the event. I've no reason to think he's bullshitting. So he spoke to people in the event. Nobody had a problem with him playing, which is a fair comment. Now, from the timing, I'm assuming he bust no cash, which happens to the best of us, right? But what happens if he wins? Like, in my heart, I'm more concerned about the personal motivation. You know, what does it say about the top or winning players
Exactly.
in our community? So if he was going to play that event, and he's well known, so maybe he was popular in that event, people do want to sit with well-known players that have won big shit. So if he'd won that event and he had immediately just gone, move all the payouts down, so now second place gets first place money, and basically I just give my money back to the pool, then I have a different opinion. Like, that's super sexy. If he's like, oh, I will give my time for free so that people can hang out with me, and then if I do win this, which is I have a higher chance than anyone else in this field, then I will just basically elimination roll the payouts one place down. Then I have a different opinion, right? That's
Well,
really sexy, but we don't know if that would have happened unless he wins. So
well, and I kind of have a little bit of a different opinion on that. We've had some men play ladies' events in the past, and they've done it with, when they entered the tournament, they've actually put out that they're doing it for charity. And I think I understand the good intention there, but I also see two, three, 500 women who are there because they want to win the trophy and test their skills, and it's sort of tainted. And I don't mean that in a bad way, but it is. Like, it takes away from their chances, especially if it's somebody that is really a high profile, big name, big, big stats or results in the poker world. It takes away from their experience. So if you have, say, a cocktail waitress or waiter who's going to enter the event as an employee with the hopes of coming in to the final table and winning themselves a little cash nest egg and build their bankroll, is it fair to them, who's there with the right reasons and for the right reasons because they're actually an employee, is it fair to take away from their experience, even if the person would give away all of it to however they would distribute it? I'm not so sure I agree with that's okay.
it's a really good point when you put it like that. I mean, I could be out of line here, but I also perceive one of the points of women's events is that sometimes it's just nice to have a feminized game of poker, right? It's just nice to not have any dicks at the table. And I love men, right? I really do love men. I'm not anti-men. Men are great. But sometimes it's just nice to not have a penis gauntlet, just have a break
Right,
from the
right,
balls.
right,
So that to me is the only point that I'm a little bit ambivalent about, right? Because to my mind, at first I was like, yeah, it's the same as a man entering a woman's event, but actually I feel like no woman in that event wants that man there. Whereas Mike Holtz was right. At least some of the people in that dealer's events would have wanted Mike Holtz there. So it straight away is a bit different. Like, the principle is the same, but
right,
actually that man in the women's event, nobody wanted him there. It was a social environment into which he was not welcome.
right.
Whereas the dealers event might be like, oh, wow, I'm sitting next to Mike Holtz, which is different. So I'm a little bit confused on that point, because if Mike Holtz goes into it, people love having him there. He gives his time for free and then gives his money back. I don't know how I can fault that. But the man in the women's tournament falls down on point one. Nobody wants you there, bro.
Right. No, I
So,
agree. No, I
yeah.
totally, yeah, no, I'm with you. I'm looking at it from all those angles. It's an employee event. It should be only for the employees. Now, if they want to change something, I definitely think they should change it to an industry event, and draw those lines in the sand. But then once those lines are in the sand, you have to come up a way to monitor or police and Sheriff Sherry is not available for that policing, by the way, for those of that will understand that reference. But,
And now there's Deputy Donna.
and neither is Deputy Donna. But, there has to be a way that whatever the rules are, that they are, accountable and they are in place and they are being, you know, enforced, so to speak, because it's not fair for these casino employees to show up thinking that it's an employee event and then there are some, pro players. And if they're not, well versed in pro players, they might not even know that's a pro player. So, you know, we just got to do better somehow. It has to be better and get better. And I don't want this event to be done away with because it comes a pain in the butt for the WSOP to police. We as a group, the poker players of the world need to police ourselves and say, we're not playing it. We're not an employee. So we're not playing it, and if you're doing it for EV, fuck you in plain English. So go ahead, Kat.
Sorry, no, I was just laughing at if you're doing it for EV, fuck you. I think that basically sums it up for me. If you're a winning pro and you're doing it for EV, fuck you. So I did also laugh at the fact you basically translated Donna into American. She said, "Neighbour's Deputy Donna," and you translated it immediately into American English for the listeners.
Well, I am her faux interpreter here in the spaces. So I have picked up on sometimes when she says stuff, oh, this is definitely something I need to translate immediately. And she's not feeling well either. So I want to help a friend out. And I don't know how to pronounce your first name. I think it's Aiden.
Aiden. This is exactly the kind of pro cunt who'd be straight into an amateur tournament. All right, Aiden.
Hey, Aiden.
Kat, how are you doing? No, I just had one question, which is a lot of these staff tournaments run at the very start of the tournament. I was just or of a series. Are these things set up similar to like a women's event where it's just for women because that's it? Or I was always under the impression that it allows dealers to play a tournament at a festival before it gets really busy. For example, I'm from a town where during the summer, all of the bars and restaurants are really busy. So there's like a random Tuesday night at the start of it where they all go out because they won't get a chance throughout the rest of the season to play. Because if it's the latter where it's just to provide at the start a tournament that staff can play, then it doesn't really matter who plays, whether it's a pro or whether it's not. But it's a very different reason if it's just for staff.
It's very, a bit of both, though, Aiden. It's a bit of both, right? Because as a team member, after the first day when I arrive, I will spend the next 2 weeks, 16 hours a day dealing with your shit. I am limited in the tournaments I can play. So thus, I don't get to have the variance. I don't get to take the volume that you get to take. So can you please just stop trying to take the nitty little edge out of the one tournament I can play? That's the point. So, I do get it's a really petty thing, but I just feel like it's just one of those moral points that in different forms comes up all over poker. When I am trying to recruit new poker players and find them a safe space to play, what do I have? Pros sniffing around. And I literally can't exclude the pros on any basis that doesn't also exclude the exact demographic I'm trying to attract. And this is what I mean. I have totally overreacted to a tiny particle of a much wider representation of a problem. Because it's just this trying to shave these insanely marginal EV spots, not in game, that's the game. Outside the game, meta EV shaving is really detrimental to the game. And if pro players want this to be their future income, they've got to get on top of it.
I get all of that, and I'm very much against like EV sniping at all costs. But I guess I've never played one of these. I don't intend to. But if I was on the opposite foot, if I was a dealer that my livelihood was to deal the entire World Series, and I only got to play one event, I kind of would like to have the opportunity to play against some of the guys that are the top tier guys, some of the guys that at the end are women at the end of the season, the ability as a if I can only play one event, maybe I do want to play against Chrissy Voxon, maybe I do want to play against Daniel Negreanu, just as a caveat, if I was a dealer and could only play one event.
And I think that's a valid point, but I also will say that there are so many series going on in Vegas currently and throughout the whole summer. You have the Wynn, the Nugget, the Venetian, the Aria, the MGM, Orleans. And then you have places like South Point and Resorts World doing their stuff. They don't have all series, but they do have events. There are so many places for dealers or any other employee to play throughout the summer. They're not being deprived. This is a kickoff to the summer. This is a reward to the employees. Like Sean was telling us, his casino over at the Aria that he helps to manage, did promotions where employees got their buy-ins taken care of. Then some of his regular cash game players kicked in some cash to pay for some of the staking or spots into the employee tournament. This is something to excite the people and have that they can have fun before they're too damn tired to play poker in day 30 of the WSOP. And if they want to play, I'm not speaking on their behalf, but they have plenty of summer to play with the pros. And the sanctity of this one tournament out of thousands over the summer can be reserved for just the employees. And the pros should just stay away from it out of courtesy for those people that have serviced you at a poker table throughout the entire year. I'm off my soapbox. Go, cool chick. Welcome.
Hey, thanks. I really don't know as much as most of you up here know about this particular tournament, but if it is for the employees of the casino, then I feel that it should be just for them, especially if there's some, if they're getting paid, like the places are getting paid, because it's their sort of reward. It's like in these projects that I deal with in NFTs and crypto, the founders of that project, if they do a contest or a giveaway, 90% of those founders will not accept a prize if it happens to land on their name, because they feel it's not right. And it's for those that put the time and effort in, maybe have the tournament for just the employees so that they get to play in and can possibly win if they're good enough. And then, somewhere down the line have a special charity event or something like that where some of the professionals will play with some of the employees. It's just a thought, but me, even like that, I can't, even if I win on some of my games that I host online, I will not take the prize, even if I get first place. I always tell them I don't count. It defaults to second, third, and fourth, just because I don't feel that's right. But that's just my opinion.
Well, and I think I'm going to just give a little background. Cool Chick is very new to playing poker. So this is a newbie speaking to us, and we need to listen because her opinion matters, because she is just the person we want to join our community and to last in our community. And so, her opinion matters too as a newbie. And I say, that any pro that thinks it's okay to play in the employee um, tournament really needs to think about their reasonings why. Because it's not about that pro player, it's about the employee and their experience. So go ahead, Kat.
I I wanted to pick up on it. Like, it's where I get a bit nitty, but to me, these are the exciting things of life, right? The important things, maybe I should say as well. So Cool Chick said, "Oh, it's just my opinion," right? I would like to say this is what you've described there is not actually an opinion, right? It's a morally based reaction. You didn't like learn in sense that I learned an opinion about politics from reading the news or history or whatever. You, because of whatever your upbringing, your interactions with the world, when you are in the position of being able to take advantage of another human being, you decided not to, right? I agree with your assessment. In that exact situation you described, you had an advantage there and you could have just taken it. And probably no one in your group would have questioned it or argued it. No one would have thought you were an arsehole. You'd have never been judged or dragged or cancelled or whatever the kids are saying. But you just decided not to do that and elimination roll that money. And it's not an opinion, it is a moral, instinctive reaction. And that's what is important. That's what I can't understand of someone who knows they're a beast entering a tournament with a serious intention to win when they know everyone else is a bit of a shit reg amateur at best. It's not about what's right or wrong or what's written in the WSOP rules or what Poker News say or what my mum says. It's about that intrinsic response as a human, not to just take advantage of other humans when the opportunity arises.
And let's face it, there's lots of fish in the poker sea that you can target for EV at all the tournaments all summer long.
Was that a marketing pimp, Sherry? Have you been given a retainer by the WSOP to be like?
No, but maybe I should be.
Are you actually going to play any events yourself?
I am going to play. I get there June 25th through July the 3rd. And quite honestly, I've been so busy, I haven't even figured out anything I'm playing, which is very unusual for me because I'm an organizer and I usually have my spreadsheet done. Yes, I do a spreadsheet about the tournaments that I'm going to hopefully play or targeting to play. And honestly, I have no clue. I have no clue whatsoever what I'm going to play.
So wait, what's in your spreadsheet? Just like really well formatted, pre-formatted columns. You're like,
I'm
when I
going to
put
tell
the
you.
data in here, it's going to be such a sexy heat map, but there's just nothing in there.
Let me tell you something. My spreadsheet, every time I do it, I laugh at myself because I am so anal, like it's color coded. What I do is I put several events on each day that I'm going to be in Vegas that I would be interested to play. And I color coded by casino so that I can just, recognize like that's the Aria, that's the WSOP, whatever. And then the day before, like there's usually one or two tournaments that I'm like hell bent on playing. Like there's no way I'm not playing them. But then the other tournaments and other days, I have 2, 3, 5 sometimes different tournaments listed. And the night before, I'm looking at that going, okay, am I playing tomorrow or am I going to a show tomorrow with someone or am I going to dinner with somebody tomorrow? And I really just basically pick one of those 4, 3, 5 tournaments I've listed there to play or not play the next day. And I do that because when I'm in Vegas, I don't want to waste my damn time looking up shit for the next day. I want to have my choices available for me to just look at and pick one, and I'm on my way. When I'm in Vegas, I don't like to waste my time on paperwork or looking up shit. So I hope that makes sense.
It does make total sense. But I was laughing while you were talking because although I play poker quite seriously, when I go to a live event, I just literally go to the registration desk and just keep refiring bullets into whatever's starting. I have no system or organization, and I'm usually quite pissed. But when I play slots online, I keep a really obsessive spreadsheet about where I've been, the percentage equity on each bonus bar. Isn't that weird that actually on the obvious game with no skill, I keep a spreadsheet, but in the poker game, I'm just drunk and firing bullets. I need a therapist.
Hilarious.
Fucking hell.
That's actually quite funny. But the first, and this really for me goes way, way back to the first time I went to the WSOP and you're new and you're trying to figure it out. And I don't even think we had the Bravo app then, or Poker Go, or not Poker Go, or what's the other one? Bravo and I can't think of the other app, but anyway, I don't even think we had those apps. Poker Atlas, thank you. And so you literally had to get on your phone or computer to look up everything manually. And I remember being in my hotel room going, "Oh my God, I just took an hour to look up the tournaments around town so I can decide what I'm going to play tomorrow." And I'm in Vegas. Who the hell wants to waste an hour on that crap? Not me. And so the very next year, I started with a spreadsheet. And let me tell you, it's a game changer for me. I just, I take a screenshot of it and, I may be at dinner or something and I'm like, oh, let me look real quick. Okay, I'm playing at 10 tomorrow. So I can, have to get home and go to bed early or, I'm playing at 5 tomorrow. So we can stay out late tonight, so that's where we're at. And,
Let
just,
me let me ask you a very personal question, Sherry.
yes,
When you fly, as in take air travel,
yes.
do you print out a paper boarding pass just in case?
I print out a boarding pass because I don't like to
I
mess
knew it.
around. Wait a minute. I don't like to mess around with electronics when I'm trying to do something in life. So there's nothing more maddening to me than standing in a line and somebody's got their phone out trying to do something to get a discount or get on a plane. You're wasting my time now. And so that's why, if it was foolproof, I would 100% because I love technology. And if it was foolproof, I would 100% never print my boarding pass. But unfortunately, I've been behind many of those people where their phone isn't working right. They can't call it up. Then when they try to scan it, there's a crack in their screen, so it won't scan and blah, blah, blah. So anyway, I'm about not wasting my time, even though it's a waste of time to print it. Mike Holtz, welcome to the panel. What can you add to our discussion?
What's happening, guys? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly, and I'm glad you're joining us.
Okay, cool. I've never done a Spaces before, so this is actually my first time. So, I just whenever I talk, I just keep the mic on, then just click it whenever everybody else is speaking, I assume.
You caught on quick, and I'm glad we're popping your spaces cherry this morning.
Hell yeah, hell
We'll
yeah.
go easy on you, we promise.
Hell yeah. So I just wanted to talk about obviously the everything that's going on with the casino employees event and me playing it. I just wanted to clarify basically like what exactly happened.
Awesome.
Um, so I final tabled the Venetian the same day one, and I busted it at like 9 o'clock, something like that. Late res for casino employees was at 9:30. We had talked in the podcast on Poker News how basically everyone in Poker News was asking me to play the event. And I kept saying, I don't think I should play. I'm clearly going to be one of the better players, probably the best player in the field, yada, yada. Every casino employee, every dealer that I talked to made fun of me for saying that. They're like, dude, come play. You're a blast at the table. I don't know if anyone here's played with me, but I'd say it's on a regular basis. People tell me they're having the most fun they've ever had at the poker table when I'm there. I try to keep it lighthearted. And it's not like I came there with sunglasses and a hoodie and was, I was calling all ins blind. I was, we were having a blast. All getting, my whole table were getting high on break. Like, it wasn't like, you know, I don't even know what I cashed for. I obviously wasn't doing it for the money or anything like that. I just wanted to play some poker and have some fun. And I don't know. We had a good time, and everyone I played with, they seemed to share the sentiment because I didn't want anyone to feel uncomfortable. And everyone else, I mean, at least to my face, no one said anything. And I put the Twitter poll up. In hindsight, I wish I just didn't play and didn't have to deal with all this right now. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like a dick, but at the same time, like, I don't know. I am the co-host for a poker media. Like, I am technically a poker media member. Like, I'm doing 60 podcasts this year with Poker News, maybe even more than that because there's 2 a week during the WSOP. So I mean, I don't know. There
Well,
was a lot of other players there as well who were who have yeah, it's hard. So like I do feel like it was okay that I played as far as that I qualified, but I don't think I should have played. Like I kind of fell into the peer pressure of all my friends playing and people I
Well,
know.
and I'm just gonna cut in here for a minute, Mike, and I really appreciate you coming in and giving your perspective, right? Because it's always better if we hear all sides of the story. And I say to you that I see it as more of a WSOP, um, and lack of a better word, structure, title, the name of the tournament. That and it just needs to be tweaked. We talked. I know you just joined us, but we talked about it a little bit earlier. That maybe it should be the name should be changed to industry tournament. Like industry instead of just
Exactly. Yeah.
casino employees, like in industry people, and that I think would help a lot because when you say casino employees, there's not a person on this earth that doesn't think it's people that work at a casino, right? Now, like I mentioned earlier, I know Chad, I see is joining us on the panel. He's won it in the past, right? And so I'm okay with, if we make that name change, then it represents the body of people that are playing it. But the problem is right now is that title leads us down a road of it's employees only. So then what is this guy doing playing it? Right. And so I want to welcome Chad to the panel. And what do you have for us?
Hey there. Yeah, thank you. I just thought it'd be fun to chime in for a number of reasons, having formerly won this event and causing quite a controversy when I did in 2013. And then also, of course, hosting the podcast alongside Mike and Kyna. Yeah, I remember when I won this event in 2013, it was a similar situation in that people were critical of what casino did I work for, even though I technically work for Poker News. And to kind of clear that up was Caesar simply said that year, look, we're contracting you guys, so therefore we're going to consider you employees, and you can play the casino employees event for the very first time. And since then, it's been that way that if you work for Poker News and now other outlets like poker.org basically get credentialed that they'll allow you to play the casino employees event. Now, whether or not we should, that's certainly a different question. But I do agree with you that it should probably evolve. You got to remember that this event used to be the dealers event, so it was only open to dealers, and then they evolved to include other aspects of the casino industry, right? Casino employees. So if you work at a restaurant that's inside a casino, you can play. If you are a janitor at a casino, you could play, and it likely should because the industry has evolved. Change from casino employee to, as you said, some sort of industry profile, and require to show a pay stub, a gaming license, some sort of badge, W-2, whatever it might be. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. As for Mike, he does work for us. He gets paid by us. He is a credentialed media member. So to me, again, whether or not should is a question, but certainly was able to. And so to me, it's a situation of, don't hate the player, hate the game.
Well,
Right
and
now.
I'm going to say to you that the one statement that you made also clears up a lot. And the fact that you guys are paid employees, you're a paid contractor. So you are qualified. And I think you saying just that statement means a lot as far as the entire issue is concerned, because you guys are paid employees, you're paid contractors. So go ahead, Kat.
Sorry, just rolling a split. I just gotta say, I fundamentally disagree. Right, I don't know your poker skills, Chad. It's not about what the book says, right? If you know yourself, you're shit at poker, and you were a media guy, because I think media guys work their tits off. I've seen what happens with media guys during events. So if you're a media guy and you're just a shit normal amateur who loves poker, I think it's cool you entered that event and you won it. I just, if you know, and Mike Holt said it himself, I know I'm going to beat the field. He said, I was going all in blind and I still cashed. That hurts my heart. This is, I didn't know people want to play with Mike Holt. I'm sure you're a lovely dude. I don't want to play with you because you're a beast. I play my best and I can't min cash tournaments. You're going all in blind and you still fucking flick it in. So, if you know yourself, you're crap at poker, And I think the valets should be allowed to enter. I think the casino managers should be allowed to enter, but not if they are like smashing winning beasts. I've
Well,
been
and I
invited
think,
to.
oh, go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
I
I
was just
thought
going
you
to
were
say
done.
it's a really quick one. I was invited to play a ladies' invitational, and it was for ladies who were new to poker. And I had to pay and I had to give my time to do it. But I thought, this is really crap. They're just learning the game. I will definitely run them over. I don't want to do that. So I just didn't take it. I was totally allowed to enter. There were no rules. Nobody said I couldn't. They probably would have liked it because they wanted to film it, and I'm a bit of a knob. So but I didn't want to do that. And that's the point. It doesn't matter what the rules say. If you know you're going to crush the field, you shouldn't play.
So, Kat, I understand the yield. Let's yield, and but the thing I want not to be glossed over is that Mike and Kyna were in their right to play it. I'm going to shut your mic off, Chad, because we're getting a little bit of feedback. Um, um, but they were in their right to play it, and whether, like Chad mentioned, whether they should play it is a different story, and that's on each individual. But I suggested earlier that maybe a Hendon Mob threshold should be tied to the event. I don't know. I'm just looking for solutions because I think this is a great event that should be held, and it's great for our employees, so to speak, and that's a big umbrella. I think it's industry people have the chance to play at the kickoff before they're into day 30 and exhausted. So that's kind of where I'm at. Go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, I just want to thank Mike and Chad for actually coming up and speaking on this, because as you read a tweet, you only get a certain perspective of it. You don't really understand the whole of the situation, what went off. So thank you for coming up and explaining your side of the story. And it's made me understand a lot more than just reading a bog standard tweet. So thank you for that. And I see Kyna in here as well.
Yeah.
So welcome to Kyna too.
And I'm going to, and I tweeted to Robin this morning because I was really hoping he would come in and give his side of because I saw it was growing momentum. And, as people who know me know, I just like to get the facts out there. I don't jump on the bandwagon of let's crucify people. Let's get the sides of the story so we can figure it out and find some solutions and move forward. And Mike, I noticed you had turned your mic on. Did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that maybe a good idea is just to have it as a like you can't play if you have a certain number of WSOP caches, or if you've won a bracelet before in a different event outside of the casino employees, maybe you can't play. But yeah, I mean, I after playing this year, I mean, yeah, like I don't think I should be allowed to play that event for sure. And I appreciate you guys hearing my side of everything that happened. And yeah, I certainly don't want anyone to feel uncomfortable in poker. And yeah, I just want to let you guys know it wasn't malicious by any stretch of the imagination. Yeah, and yeah, I'm not going to play it next year for sure.
Well, and we appreciate you, Mike. Honestly, we do. And, you know, any conversation is going to have a good outcome because we're learning about, the facts of the matter in this case. And we appreciate you. Go ahead, Kat.
I was just going to say to Mike that actually something you tweeted in a thread did make me think, right, that because in my mind it was similar to like a man playing a woman's event, but automatically kind of no one wants that man there. But then you did tweet something that made me think people did want you there, right? You're well known, people like you, they actually enjoy sitting with you and playing with you. So there is a difference. But do you know what I mean? If you'd won that tournament and all of that winnings had gone in your money, in your pocket, sorry, I would have thought that was a little bit salty somehow. But on the other hand, if you were going to play that, and like you say, you were throwing your money about going all in blind, people enjoy your company because you're obviously a nice bloke, and then you win it, and actually something happens with those winnings. I do feel that is different. There is a nuance there that I think I missed before. And like I said, no one can know what your strategy was, right? At this point, you needed to win that tournament for us to see what happens there. But if you were genuinely giving your time and money as a well-known player that people like to sit with, there is something in that. And if people working in those casinos want that experience, then they should defend that, and it's a good point in a way.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and I totally see your viewpoint on it, and yeah, I mean, I'll say this: when it got down to like 30 people left, I was like, oh God, just somebody bust me, please. Like, I really, this can't get any worse. Like, so I certainly never expected. I mean, I thought it was possible I could win the event, but yeah, I mean, I wasn't even, there was never a point where I even like looked up to see like how much the cash. I don't even know what I cashed for in the event. Like, I was just there having fun and enjoying it. And I will say, when it got down to 2 tables left, I did trade a bit more. There was never a point where I had like sunglasses or a hoodie on. I was talking in the middle of hands. Like, and I think if you ask any of the last 20 people in the tournament, no one felt uncomfortable, and they all had a really good time. So, yeah, I'm not
Did
now, but go ahead. Sorry.
You're in
I?
what we fondly call the matrix in spaces, so you're kind of coming in and out, but I think we got the gist of it. Go ahead, Kat.
Yeah, no, I just wondered if, I think Chad said that Poker News sponsor Mike. Apologies if I got that wrong, but I just wondered if during that tournament Poker News were in your inbox going fucking bust that tournament, because if our brand ambassador, when they get close on our online events, they sort of have to play because of the reason I said, right? Players want to sit with them at the tables, but if they are running good in a leaderboard or something that's meant to go to our customers, I am like, you fucking bust that tournament, get out. So I just wondered if your sponsors were like, please do not win this event. Like, just bust yourself. Shut your eyes and rip it in.
All right. We have some comments I want to read. I'm sorry. We have some comments I want to read and maybe get some opinions. And if those that wrote the comments want to come up, we'll be happy to have you on the speaker panel. Wolfie said, so Mike got his table high and took advantage of them. And then Kyna said, so you have to be a bad at poker to play this event? Question mark. Great take. Any comments on that?
That might have been aimed at me because I was sort of quite vehemently saying if you know you're a beast, you shouldn't play. I wouldn't say bad at poker, but it's like, I don't know, this is what I'm talking about. It's a moral nuance that nobody can write in a rule book. If you know that you're just going to crush the field on average, you have a ridiculously high ROI in an event that's not an open field, right? We're not talking about just an open event, like everyone puts their money in fair and square there, but like an event that has another purpose. And this one, like we've discussed, is to reward dealers. I just think there is something a bit weird, and it's only a decision that we know ourselves, right? I mean, Mike Holtz is unfortunate. He's got like literal documented proof that he's a beast. But there might be some silent beasts among those dealers that no one knows are actually fucking online crushers. I don't think they should play either. So it's
Well,
not be bad at poker. It's just not be so massively far ahead of what should be a special field.
go ahead, Kyna. Welcome.
Hey guys, I am actually at work because I do a lot of jobs within the poker industry, and I no longer really play professionally anymore. And I was really excited to play this event. I thought it was going to be a great time. Everybody I played with, I had so much fun with. I heard like 3 times like say that you should be a shit poker player to play this event, and I just don't think that's fair. There were a lot of players in there that are good players. There are a lot of really good players that are dealers too. There are a lot of people that come in and out of this industry in different forms. And I mean, if I had won that bracelet, I would have proudly won that bracelet. I just have to say, you know what I mean? It still was a field of 1,000+ people. It's hard to win a tournament like that, even if you feel like you have an edge because maybe you're a little bit better of a player. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think we should have been encouraged to try and lose that tournament. It was everybody I played with had a great time. Nobody was upset by us being there. Like, I mean, I'm just so surprised at all the backlash today. Like, I asked a whole bunch of pros too. I was like, hey, I was encouraged. Alan Kessler told me to play that event. Okay. So I just want to put it out there that I mean, there was no malicious intent. Like, I don't think you should have to be a shit player to play the casino employees event. Like Katie won it a couple years ago. She deals like a little bit now. She's a beast. She is so good at poker, and she won that bracelet. And it's like, wear it proudly. You know what I mean? So that's just my take on it. I just didn't like hearing people being called like shit players in that field, because there were a lot of good players in that field.
Well, and I think that may be a little bit out of the context of our whole conversation about it. I think, and I'm not speaking for Kat, but honestly, kind of, I didn't even realize that people were like saying your name and Mike's name either until about 20 minutes ago. So, and I really want to reiterate what Chad had said when we started this, and that is, folks are considered employees if they're contracted with Caesars as well. And I think that's a very important part of the conversation, because guess what? Nobody knows who all of the folks that are contracted, right? Nobody knows that. I think that there should be a threshold, as because I see this as an employee, because of the name of it again, it's an employee event. And maybe that threshold, I don't know what it should be. A Hendon Mob threshold of 25,000 like a rookie event, 100,000, I don't know. But I think that the one of the points I'm trying to make, and I think Kat is too, and others, is that we want them to have a chance without being a target. And I'm not saying anybody in this room was targeting anybody. I'm just saying in general that a pro player that may have a $5 million Hendon mob is coming to the $500 buy-in employee event. Is that what we really want for this event?
I
I'm
hear you.
not
I hear you
sure.
in that regard too. And I, in good faith, I won't play it again. But like it was really fun. And can I just say, like when I started playing tournaments and playing big field tournaments, and I got to sit next to a player like Mike Holtz that was really well known, and like being new in poker, like that was cool as fuck to me. It still is cool as fuck. If I get to sit with Alex Fox, and if I get to sit with Kristen Bicknell, Maria Ho, that is really cool experience for me. So maybe people looked at it in the other light as thinking, hey, how cool, I get to play with 2-time player of the year Mike Holtz. You know what I mean? And it still is. We still have we get the same cards. Mike didn't get 3 cards. Like everybody got the same amount of cards. We're still playing the same game. But I get you. And in good faith, like if it rubs people the wrong way, like I will not play it again next year. Like Mike said, we won't play it again next year.
And I'm going to tell you, we did discuss that earlier before you guys came in. We definitely discussed that 100%, and have the same view as you. So go ahead, Donna.
Yeah, I just want to thank Kyna as well for coming up and stepping up from all this Twitter beef. We're not going at you personally. I think, as Sherry said and others have said, it's the name of the event that needs changing, and a lot of things need changing in this industry and in other industries too, because they're behind the times. And I think people need to take a look at this employees event and name it something different. So thank you, Kyna. Thank you for everybody who's been in this and come up and spoken your side of the story, instead of it just being like words on a screen. You've come up and expressed your side of the story so we can understand a lot more. And there's no heat from me whatsoever. So thank you for that.
No problem. I appreciate you guys letting me speak.
Oh, 100%. You're always welcome here. And we are about having conversations. And, we're all in this together. We want to support everybody. And we love railing everybody. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from. We are in your corner. So, Snoop, what do you have for us?
Yeah, reporting live from Alan Kessler's Farmers Only account. I have a Planned Parenthood appointment, so I'll make this very quick. I think there should be some repercussions for this snitching that he always does. Every time Alan Kessler snitches, I think we take away one of his hotel casino comps, like maybe 5 points per snitch.
Snoop, are you in shower? You keep going in and out.
Definitely in the shower, Donna, but I think that we should.
Okay, Snoop, go back out and come back in, dude. Let's see if we can get some better sound for you, bud.
Stop getting water on your phone.
Go ahead and request again, Snoop. We'll see if we can get a better connection, dude. Come on, Snoop. Request again. We're bringing you right back up. I'm just trying to do it to see if we can get a better connection. All right, we'll give him a minute to get back with us. Kat, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I like. I'm a big fan of Kyna, but that's why. Like when I look at you, Kyna, and I imagine us playing heads up over 100 games, I feel like I'm proper dildoed. Like I'm just done. Do you know what I mean? So there's people who definitely would really want to play with famous people because it's an experience and they're really good. But I guess I'm leaning a bit like I get one event where I might get to be in the better part of the field because that's not very rare for me. So I guess it's a little bit of both, but it's still a challenge for me. Whereas I feel like someone like you or Mike Holtz, I'm literally boned. So what is the point? But I have negated thinking about the other side of people who are pure there for fun. I'm there for my one tournament that now I have to sit and watch everyone else play hands for the next 2 solid weeks, 16 hours a day, crying because I don't get to play. And my one tournament, I sit next to Kyna. Like I sit down and there's Kyna got with position on me. Like I'm running bad before a card's been dealt. And you know, that's how I feel about it because it's like a protected tournament. If I get to play the whole series $500 events and I sit next to you, I'm still tilted. But now I'm like, okay, well, when she busts me, at least I get to play tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? It's a little thing, but I don't know. It sticks out to me because how good are you? You know, only you know. I think you're amazing, but that's not necessarily a compliment. I'm a bit shit. So you know how good you are. And that's what I mean. If you feel like you were a mega crusher, I feel like you shouldn't have played. But you said, you sounded really humble. You said, I would have proudly won that tournament. If you feel like that was a big challenge for you, then you should have played. Then it's super cool because you do meet the employee criteria and you felt, oh, this is a tough field for me. And if you're working the whole series yourself, you're in the same spot. So only you know whether it was okay for you to play. I don't know. It's a weird one.
No, yeah, I get that. I get that take, and I'm pretty high up in my own head with my poker skill. Like I do not think I'm a shit player, but you know, I wanted to have fun. I wanted to play. I'm saying any tournament that has 1,000+ people, 1,000+ entries, it's not going to be like super easy. It's not going to be a layup. I'm not going to go in and be like, I'm going to win, but I'm going to go in and be like, I'm going to try and win. I want to win. I still want to play. I still want to be competitive, you know, but I appreciate the nice comments about me. And like I said, in good faith, like I think, you know, we didn't want to stir the pot. We just wanted to have fun and play the employees event as Poker News podcast team, you know, and like Mike said before, it's like you probably shouldn't have played it, but we had a great time. The people we played with had a great time. So I hope it was a good experience for everybody that I got to play with. I wish the 4 people that are left still good luck. You know, they've earned it. You know, good for them. And, you know, continue on with the series, right? Let's go.
Yeah, just to be
Absolutely.
clear, just to be absolutely clear on this, if there's a Poker News team, like media team event, and I can get in there, I definitely will play that one. So, like I say, I'm not saying that Poker News or media people shouldn't be allowed to play. Definitely, I just feel like you have a different profile to say, you know, a couple of the writers that I know from Poker News who definitely are nowhere near your skill level. You know, it's
Well,
not a
and I
Poker News
think
media tag.
as I, you know, started this conversation with, I think a huge part of the solution is to change the name of it to include the word industry instead of casino. I think that would go a long way. Go ahead, Donna.
Kat, one person that needs to be banned from this employees event is Callum. I'd love to ban Callum, and you know what I'm on about.
Oh no, I think he's fine. He would be in the bottom. He's in the bottom 40% of any amateur field. Not a problem.
No, just ban Callum just to wind him up.
Oh, that's funny. I just want to thank everybody that's come in here to give us some more information on the topic. I think it's important dialogue, and this is how we come up with solutions for things that just need a little tweaking. Like Chad said, we're evolving, and so should the things around us. Chad, do you have anything else you'd like to say? Having no further words from Chad, Aiden, do you have anything else you'd like to add?
The only thing I was going to add was I do think the industry naming would be very good. I made the point that it would be me playing against, being put in the bin by Mike Holmes would be pretty good. I try my best to do it back to him, but I think the biggest thing is just trying to avoid people that, like local misregs that were, working in a bar in Binions back in the 90s that now play full time, just kind of ruining the experience by using like a 1990s ID card. That would be obviously like kind of where it would be really poor, but yeah, that's it.
I appreciate you and those comments for sure, Aiden. You and I have never met, but I hope our paths cross soon. Are you coming to the WSOP? Or are you already here?
I land next Friday for a week. First WSOP.
Well, I look forward to hearing your updates, and any morning you'd like to join us, we start at 9:30 Vegas time. We have a space if you'd like to pop in and tell us how your poker at the WSOP is going. We'd love to hear about it.
Which is 5 p.m. our time, Aiden. And I'm sorry I got to miss you. I actually saw you signing in at the desk at MPF, but I didn't say hello to you, so I missed you. Sorry.
Well, I am going to shut this space down. Does Donna, do you have any other remarks or statements or questions?
No, none whatsoever, but just thank you for everybody who's been in this Twitter spat over the employees event. There's been no shade thrown at you. We've welcomed you up here and loved hearing your side of the story. And hopefully people will hear this and we can move forward from the name pointing, the name calling, etc., etc. And I wish everybody who's going to the WSOP this summer a good series.
Thank you for that. Kat, you have any closing words?
No, that was all from me, Sherry. Cheers for the invite. I will catch you next time we do space.
I appreciate you joining us. I appreciate Chad, and I see Barry in here and Wolfie. And I'm sorry we didn't get to Snoop. His, broadcasting, his connection wasn't good. I see you, ASG. I appreciate everybody that's joined us and everybody that's going to listen to the recording of this space. Again, we are doing WSOP daily coverage every morning at 9 a.m. Pacific time. So join us. And tomorrow afternoon, we will have our regular space at 4:30 Pacific time. And we will be interviewing the poker boss, Sean McCormick. So join us for that. So thank you, everybody, and have a great day and good luck on the felt.